Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Global Digitalization. My title can be superimposed infinitely. Chapter 91. The backstage staff rushed towards Su Mu suddenly, raised his right hand, and the palm fell off and turned into a sharp blade. It's an alien killer. In the blink of an eye, everyone at the scene saw the situation. But seeing Gui saw, the killer moved too fast, there was no time to stop it. Boom! A ball of acid-etching arrows shot by the speaker's guard hit the crystal curtain wall, corroding a large hole. He came out like a ghost, but he was still several positions behind the killer. Want to catch up, hard to catch up. Su Mu took half a step back, from the point of view, just to avoid the killer's charge. But he didn't see that a sharp blade suddenly stretched out from the shadow on the ground, stabbing towards the undefended back. These are two killers, one after the other. One attracts attention, and the other strikes with a thunderbolt, instantly killing the target. Su Mu's attention was only on the assassin in front, but he couldn't see the assassin behind him at all. The guard's face was tense. 227, chased after him with all his strength, but the distance was only a short distance, and he was too late to rescue Su Mu. Su Mu, already in a desperate situation. Everyone in the audience showed a look of panic, and couldn't bear to see a human celestial group fall. At this time, the only one who is free to watch the show is Fang Jiang, who is only 2 steps away from Su Mu. The two 500-level killers seem to be very strong, but he can easily catch them. But Fang Jiang felt rebellious in his heart. This kid slapped him in the face in public, no matter what he had to make him embarrassed. Of course, Fang Jiang is also human. It is impossible for Su Mu to be killed by the killer. As long as Su Mu was cornered by the killer, he showed a frightened and desperate look and bowed his head to him for help. Fang Jiang will act like a master outside the world, and easily deal with the two assassins. And when the time comes, Su Mu will not only thank him, but also severely save his face. Fang Jiang had a good plan, so he kept his hands behind his back, waiting for Su Mu's desperate call for help. In his eyes, these people are like slow motion, progressing slowly. But Su Mu never saw the killer behind him, and still focused on the front. He seemed to think that as long as he avoided the attack ahead, he could save himself from danger. But behind him, the sharp blade is getting closer and closer. Even, the tip of the blade was about to touch the dress. In half a millisecond, it will penetrate into Su Mu's body, and then come out through the chest. The more Fang Jiang waited, the more anxious he became. What the hell, is this kid so stupid? I wonder if there is another one behind him. He waited another half a millisecond, and saw that Su Mu was still not aware of it, and was still dodging the killer in front of him. It's just that he seems to be chanting quickly, about to throw a shock spell. I can't wait anymore. Fang Jiang ran out of patience. If he didn't make a move, Su Mu would die. He had no choice but to stretch out his hand suddenly. Stagnation. The space is like being poured with crystal, which is instantly frozen. The two killers were forced to stop in the air. One brushed past Su Mu's chest, and the other had already pressed the tip of the blade to the back of Su Mu's heart. The person behind him still had a little bit of consciousness, and said with difficulty, "Why?" Fang Jiang sneered, "Why? Because Liu Yingren has already been arrested. Do you still think that the World Academy will help foreigners? Yi, catch the assassin. Be careful, protect the heroes of the League." All of this happened within half a second, when the people below screamed. But when they regained their composure, they discovered that the two foreign killers had been fixed in the air, had been hit by the spell of stasis, their eyelids were motionless, and all activities in their bodies had been stopped. The guard breathed a sigh of relief, and hurriedly moved the two controlled killers away. "Are you okay?" the spokesperson asked concerned. "It's okay." Su Mu nodded, turned her head, and looked at Fang Jiang with a half-smile. Fang Jiang looked a little embarrassed, and coughed twice. "Okay, you don't have to thank me. Wenxi Academy has been cooperating with Yanmeng, but this time I did something wrong. Naturally, I won't just watch you get killed." Su Mu smiled slightly. "Thank you, Examiner Fang." Fang Jiang always felt that Su Mu's smile was a little weird, but he couldn't put it into words. He saw the professionals of Yanmeng coming to the stage, and he lifted the stasis spell. Swish! The two killers were shocked suddenly, their bodies turned gray, and in the next second they turned into dust and fell to the ground. The guard felt a little regretful. It seems that if you have a spell, you will die automatically. It's a pity, it would be great if we could interrogate. Fang Jiang was stunned for a moment. This scene did not seem like a suicide spell. He couldn't help looking at Su Mu, who had already turned his eyes away, but still had a mysterious smile on his face. Fang Jiang was astonished. He thought that the assassin was frozen in time and asked, why? At that time, he guessed that the other party was surprised that Liu Yingren wanted to cooperate with them, why he suddenly backed out. Now that I think about it, the assassins are also surprised, why Su Mu is so strong. The method of turning into dust is most likely used by Su Mu. But Fang Jiang, being a saint, didn't even notice when he made a move. He just read a very short spell. Could it be that he could kill 2 level 500 killers just by reading the spell for half a second? This kid, does he really have a hand? Fang Jiang was surprised. Point 0. An alliance hero, for an existence like him, he has seen a lot, and it is not worth mentioning at all. And this 120 level hero title is probably the youngest one in the history of Yanmeng. Fang Jiang didn't look down on geniuses, but had seen too many geniuses fall. Thousands of extraterritorial battlefields have been fought in 100 years. Countless geniuses rose up in the sea of blood, and then fell in front of endless and overwhelming enemies. Human beings regard foreign races as sharpening stones and keep forging. The same is true for foreigners, killing everyone they see. Su Mu, an early talent, what can be so special? Fang Jiang has been in a high position for many years. He has long been used to seeing everything, and with a natural indifference, he looked down on this young man from a high position. But this time, it really surprised him. Maybe, he can really bring some changes to the whole group. A little episode. Su Mu smiled without changing her face. Then let's continue and show you something. The audience was also amazed. Being assassinated in public, they didn't change their faces. Although there are several strong men nearby, the other party also relied on strong means to get into the backstage and even replace the staff. Who can guarantee that the security guards of Yanmeng's senior administrators can take action in time? And who dares to guess, will the boss of Wenxi Institute who was slapped in the face in public, will help? To be able to collapse Mount Tai without changing his face, this child's heart is indeed firm. The person who passed the SS score of the Undead King's secret realm is really extraordinary. Even if you are a senior professional, you dare not say that you can continue working. He can also see through the conspiracy of the memory crystal of the Abyss Mage. His title of Hero of the Alliance is really worthless. And they were also very curious about what Su Mu would come up with. Soon, the spokesperson's guard personally went behind the scenes and came up with a plate. Su Mu pulled off the red cloth and revealed the contents inside. Now, let the whole world see his ability. When 1/3 of the people in the audience saw the items on the tray, they suddenly showed expressions of surprise. Could it be, that person is him? My God, the hero of the Alliance, unexpectedly. Genius, real genius. I don't know how to describe it other than genius. In the next 100 years, it will surely rise. Su Mu grabbed a ghost mask and held it up under the spotlight. Everyone saw the ghost mask, and 1/3 of them showed a shocked expression. And the rest were lost in confusion. What are you doing? What is that? Is it precious? I'm going. Isn't that an ordinary mask made by my subordinate factory? It costs more than 30 yuan each. My daughter even sold it for events. The spokesperson also widened his eyes, and said in disbelief, Su Mu, you and that person, no, you, could it be him? Su Mu smiled, raised the mask, and said loudly, this sentence may be a bit late, but please allow me to introduce myself. A simple sentence made the audience quiet down. Everyone was secretly exchanging glances, but they couldn't stop the tremor in their hearts. It really is him. The person who caused the undercurrent of the Yan League to surge was actually him. Su Mu said, my name is Su Mu, and I am the #1 student in the college entrance examination this year. Everyone nodded secretly. This is irrefutable. Su Mu, I cleared the Star Spirit Tower, and I am the first person to clear the level in 117 years. As for the rewards, nothing unusual, a life occupation book, a space storage equipment. No one would dare to covet these things, even if they are very precious, they can't dream of them. As for the information about the first person to pass through the Star Spirit Pagoda in 117 years, even though they already knew it, they were still shocked. Clearing the Star Spirit Pagoda requires not only strength, but also a strong plan. Moreover, they also collected information. Su Mu entered the trial continent at level 10, and exited at level 120. This is not a simple sentence that can be explained by Tibetan clumsiness, it must contain amazing courage and strategy. Su Mu continued. I discovered the parasites, and prevented them from invading, and saved. I dare not say too many, there should be millions of students, right? Everyone nodded. It is for this feat that Su Mu was awarded the title of League Hero. This honor is well deserved. Moreover, the children of some of them participated in this year's college entrance examination practice. They sincerely expressed their gratitude to Su Mu. Without his help, it would be difficult for Yanmeng to screen out the parasitized students from tens of thousands of students. Moreover, what Su Mu said was easy, but in fact he killed a 200-level parasitic expert. Not to mention level 10 versus level 200, even if Su Mu is now at level 120, against level 200, there is still a huge difference in numbers. A simple sentence, but it sums up the endless dangers. He deserves this feat. Su Mu continued. As you all already know, I passed the Undead God King and the Abyss Mage's Reappearance Secret Realm with SSS score. The audience nodded, everyone knew that. SSS level rating, unprecedented achievements, and unprecedented achievements. Although it is only a reappearance of the secret realm, it is still an achievement that is enough to enter the annals of history. This has nothing to do with ability, but more with talent and character. Even if a secret realm gets an S achievement, it is enough to become a big boss. And the two secret realms got SSS scores. Everyone can't imagine how far Su Mu will grow in the future. Moreover, the secret realm of the Abyss Mage gave him the Ring of Salt and Iron. That ring seems simple, but it has infinite uses. The reward of the Undead King. You don't know, but there must be some factors for Su Mu's rapid rise. Su Mu paused. I said something that everyone knows, and then I talked about something I don't know. When everyone heard it, they immediately pricked up their ears and listened carefully. They have a feeling in their hearts, and there will definitely be more information that shocks the world. Su Mu smiled. The reason why I can open the door to the killing secret is because I am in the killing secret. Killed 247,276 monsters and gained 114,184,931 kill points. Killing points can be exchanged for experience points, so you can directly upgrade from level 10 to level 120. Now, everyone on the field sat up straight, showing expressions of disbelief. What? 100 million kills, 240,000 monsters. This is a bulldozer. Let's not talk about it. This is too strong, how can it be done? Even if it's just a level 10 killing secret, but relying on one person to get 100 million points. Maybe half of the people and monsters in it have been killed. Su Mu smiled slightly. Although it was a coincidence, it also got the SSS score of level 10 killing secret realm. In essence, I have obtained the ownership of the killing realm. This secret realm is now my private property, only whoever is allowed to enter can enter. Now, no one can underestimate Su Mu. They only thought that Su Mu could open and close the door. That killing secret realm kicked out everyone was nothing more than some mechanism triggering, that's all. But now it seems that it was Su Mu who took the initiative to do this, so he was able to isolate the parasites and let the students enter the safe zone. He owns an entire huge secret realm, which is a property so huge that everyone covets it. Even the Chu family has 3 independent secret realms. But those were small half-worlds, maybe just a continent floating in the void. This is completely different from the killing realm, which is self-contained and has a complete ecosystem. Moreover, the killing secret realm is because it connects hundreds of secret realm worlds, so that different races can enter it with the keystone. As long as it is developed, this will become a gateway world. Just imagine, if the aliens hold the killing secret realm. Then Blue Star will be worried at any time, a door to a secret realm suddenly opens, and trillions of alien troops pour out from it. It can be said that as long as Su Mu holds the killing secret realm in his hands, he can rival the background of a big family. He alone can match the efforts of generations of other families. Su Mu held up the ghost mask and continued. In addition, with this mask, I entered the secret realm of the peak of bloodthirsty and passed the test of the road to madness. This sentence is simple, but it makes people who already know and those who don't know swallow their saliva. Some people got the news in advance that there was a young man wearing a mask who had entered the path of madness. And he has a great probability of clearing the level. Because that young man received the blessing of the secret realm beyond everyone's expectations. That is a reward that a super strong person who has walked more than 2 or 3 kilometers has never received. They don't know what Su Mu got, but it must be extremely powerful. Although the road to madness does not cause physical damage, it is a huge test of mind. Even if he has seen a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood, he can never change his face and talk about a murderer in the whole city. It is also difficult to walk more than a kilometer in it. That road has exceeded the psychological limit of human beings, or all intelligent creatures. But the people present also had a certain understanding in their hearts. Su Mu must be extremely resolute. Otherwise, you will not be able to pass the test of the undead god king and the abyss mage. It is precisely because of his perseverance that he can achieve unprecedented achievements and pass the road to madness. Reach the only one among billions. Seeing a group of people shocked and moved, Su Mu cleared his throat and said, I forgot to say, I cleared the road to madness 7 times. There was an uproar at the scene, and everyone was shocked. What? Even the spokesperson and Fang Jiang were stunned. The road to madness, they naturally know. Moreover, they are not sure that they will be able to pass through the astonishing spectacle. Su Mu cleared the level once, and let them know that the test has an end, and they can pass the level. Before they recovered their mood, Su Mu dropped another bombshell. That path can be cleared 7 times. 7 times. This news is enough to shock the Yan League and even all-powerful forces. Their research on the road to madness will also take an epic step forward. Of course, the most important thing is Su Mu. He has proved that he has an unparalleled mind, enough to crush 99% of people in the 10,000 realms. And he must get unimaginable rewards in it, so that he can rise so smoothly and shock the world. Su Mu. Mr. Su, the spokesperson said with emotion, you surprised me too much. Yanmeng will always be your warm harbor, and we are willing to be the most solid stepping stone on your way to rise. Su Mu put down the ghost mask and looked at the scene. The one standing in front of you now is this year's top student in the college entrance examination. The hero of the league, the savior of millions of students. Undead God King, Abyss Mage Reappearance Secret Realm SSS Level Clearer. Kill the owner of the rift. Those who have cleared the road to madness 7 times. He looked at Fang Jiang, showing a gentle smile. Examiner Fang, I wonder if I can afford your apology with my current qualifications. Everyone fell into deep shock. Such a rich resume, even for a strong man who has been fighting for many years, is difficult to achieve, right? No one dares to underestimate Su Mu anymore. Before, I thought it was Yanmeng building momentum, creating heroes, and forming propaganda. Now it seems that the hero of the alliance, not to mention the fact that he deserves his name, is only barely worthy of Su Mu. It wasn't Su Mu who was awarded the title of hero. It is an alliance hero, which can only represent a small achievement of Su Mu. In the future, he will definitely climb to the top of the 1 in a million position and ignite the divine fire. Either protect human beings for hundreds of thousands of years, or open up territories and exterminate hundreds of millions of alien races. On that day, he will definitely be on an equal footing with Yanmeng, or even reach a higher position. So the spokesperson also changed his attitude. As a senior administrator of Yanmeng, he had to change from looking forward to the younger generation to becoming a loyal supporter of Su Shu. Su Mu must rise. Yanmeng must support. The scene was silent, and everyone focused on Fang Jiang's face. Everyone wanted to see how the boss of the Advent Institute would react. Fang Jiang stared blankly at Su Mu, his eyes were full of thoughts. Swish, he suddenly raised his hand, startling the guards next to him, and put on a posture to protect Su Mu, looking at him vigilantly. Ha 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 ha, Fang Jiang laughed loudly, and slapped Su Mu hard with his raised arm to reduce the injury. Good boy, what a good boy, ha ha ha, great. The speaker, as well as everyone in the audience, breathed a sigh of relief. Fang Jiang took Su Mu's hand very warmly and affectionately. my boy, this really makes me happy. Blue Star, the Yanmang, and the human race, it is a great blessing to have you. Ha ha ha. His attitude was very different from before, all dissatisfaction and unhappiness disappeared. It's just a slap in the face of Wen Xiuan, it's a trivial matter. Fang Jiang suddenly bent down, grabbed Su Emu's hand, and slapped himself in the face. Slap, hit as much as you want. Old man, what kind of eyes do I have? I didn't even notice this real dragon. Bad, really bad. Clap clap. Su Emu's hand slapped Fang Jiang's face several times, and each slap was extremely loud. The speaker was dumbfounded, and so were the people in the audience. The boss of the World Academy, the change is too fast. Such a physical slap in the face, does he really not hold grudges? Su Mu didn't expect that the other party would come out like this, and she was grabbed by the hand dumbfounded, and she really slapped her several times. Fight, what are you afraid of? Fang Jiang stared, pointing at the group of people below. Listen to me, who dares to be like the old man without eyes? Annoyed my family Su Mu, Wen Xiuan will be the first to deal with him. The people in the audience smiled wryly. How could it change your family circle? A few minutes ago, she was dying, but when she turned around, she fell in love with her. But they didn't dare to be ironic. The old man took a fancy to Su Mu, but it didn't mean he was friendly to them. Fang Jiang said seriously. Su Mu, it's the old man, I'm blind, alas. Don't hold grudges, in the future, you must live well. What he said was true. Before, he accused Su Mu with the idea of saving face, but after knowing Su Emu's potential, Fang Jiang only cherished it in his heart. He has seen too many geniuses, but they all fell on the boundless battlefield. Live on. It is Fang Jiang's greatest expectation and most sincere entrustment to Su Mu. He touched his pocket. The sword just now was not enough, this one, you take it. And these, you have them all. Fang Jiang grabbed out a seemingly ordinary glass beaker, took out a bunch of shining golden medicine bottles, and stuffed them into Su Emu's arms. Everyone who saw it gasped, none of those things were lower than epic. As far as these two hands can hold the items, it is more than enough to buy a city. The spokesperson quickly dissuaded him with a wry smile. Examiner Feng, some things are too high grade, so it's not good for Su Mu to use them now. He originally intended Fang Jiang to take it back first, and it would not be a crime to give too much. Fang Jiang blew and stared, then put it away first and use it later. With a lift of his finger, a thin thread wrapped around those objects, imprinting words made of light. What are, use after level 180, use after level 250, use when the flame skill reaches the level of self-cultivation. Su Mu felt the other party's heart. This old man really has a clear distinction between love and hate. He nodded. Thank you. Fang Jiang patted Su Mu on the shoulder, wanting to say something else. But thousands of words finally gathered into one sentence. Live until I can't see the day. Su Mu also seriously agreed. Okay. The spokesman breathed a sigh of relief. He never expected that today's farce would end in such a situation. Su Mu seemed to have magical powers. Relying on his own strength, he strongly fought back the attacks of the Pan family, the Jai family, and Wen Xiuan, and also eliminated 2 foreign assassins. Any one of them can cause a lot of trouble. But Su Mu let their alliance collapse without any effort, and broke them one by one. This method, this strategy, made the spokesperson quite admirable. He was fortunate that Su Mu was born and grew up in Yanmang. This will also become the most powerful sword of Yanmang and even mankind. Crash la 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 la. Off the court, someone applauded. Like a contagion, everyone stood up and clapped their hands. Everyone has smiles on their faces, today's trip is so right. Not to mention watching a good show, just being able to be on the same occasion with Su Mu made many people feel quite honored and has something to talk about in the future. Congratulations to our alliance heroes. That's great, your strength is obvious to all, as long as you ask, my Kai family is willing to help. My Zhang family is the same, Mr. Su, please come to Origin Stone City when you are free. Su Yingshang, I am willing to provide sponsorship for free. Don't grab it. Mr. Su, can we take a photo? Congratulations on winning the Alliance Hero. No, the title of Alliance Hero is more valuable because of you. Su Mu also politely returned the salute. Showing strength to Kuan League is a brilliant strategy. These people already know the preciousness of Su Mu, and they want to sponsor him like a scramble, so as to get the goodwill from a young age. On the bright side, no one dared to touch him. Anyone who dares to touch Su Mu is doing a capital alliance. But in the auditorium, there was one person who was very embarrassed. Jai Qin watched the enthusiastic people continue to rush forward, just to say a word to Su Mu. She felt extremely heartbroken. How could I stand on the wrong team and believe Lu Yingren's nonsense? Her son died, or died of parasitism. Not only will you not get the courtesy you deserve, but you will be ridiculed instead. The Huo family is not small, but the most talented young master died in such a shameful manner, without making any achievements. This made Jai Qin's heart feel like a knife, and it was extremely painful. And hearing what Lu Yingren said, Su Mu is very likely a traitor to the human race. If she can come forward and correct her, Jai Tong will become a hero and die fighting against foreigners. Jai Qin was already a little moved, but Lu Yingren promised many benefits. She immediately stood up Manuo Zhao and joined the crusade team. But now, the culprit, Lu Yingren, has been arrested, and will definitely be dismantled into parts in the future, and tortured for an unknown number of years. The Jai family was also besieged by a group of big families, and it was bound to decline. Jai Qin's heart was ashamed. Looking at the lively atmosphere, the more he watched, the more he felt angry. Don't let me find a chance. She gave Su Mu a vicious look, turned and left. Su Mu seemed to have sensed something, glanced this way, shook her head indifferently, and did not stop. But Jai Qin walked to the door and was about to push it out when he suddenly felt something and his whole body froze. At the same time, everyone in the auditorium also felt a cold breath, which escaped from the outside. Their cheers fell silent, and they all turned their heads. Squeak! The door of the auditorium opened. Jai Qin's face turned pale, his teeth chattered, and his whole body trembled with fear. The person who came took off his top hat, revealing a face with hideous scars. The atmosphere at the scene was instantly frozen. I heard, the visitor said slowly, you called my daughter mean. The head of the Lang family in the northern border, the Cold War has arrived. The Cold War is here. This is a scene that no one expected. The moment he appeared, the whole environment seemed to be frozen, as cold as a cellar. You called my daughter mean. Lang Zhan glanced at Jai Qin. Jai Qin was shivering, his teeth chattered constantly, and his eyes were full of fear. I didn't do it on purpose. That's what I said. The tone of the Cold War did not fluctuate, but the emotions that came out froze every drop of the opponent's blood. Huo Qin had already collapsed. She felt that even her bones were going to freeze. I'm sorry. She plopped and knelt down, tears gushing out uncontrollably. I didn't mean it, I didn't mean it, I didn't know you. Insulting Lang's family, kneeling for 20 years. Lang Zhan left a word and stopped looking at Jai Qin. Patriarch Lang. The spokesman frowned, but he still didn't finish his sentence. Legally speaking, Dam does not allow hurting people in private. But the Cold War has the privilege of saints, and Jai Qin did attack the heroes of the alliance. He paused without stopping. Patriarch Huo, frozen. At this moment, someone asked in surprise. As many people saw that Jai Qin was not in the right state, they all began to show shocked expressions. Jai Qin knelt on the ground, still maintaining the appearance of tears streaming down his face. But she was motionless, without movement, expression, or breathing. Even the hair and eyelashes are no longer moving, just like a statue. But on Jai Qin's body, there was no trace of freezing. Her face remained rosy, and her eyes still had a frightened light. It seems to be frozen at this moment, like a three-dimensional photo, revived. She's frozen, someone said in surprise. My God, you are worthy of being a saint, you can freeze from the rules. Kneeling for 20 years, is she really allowed to kneel here for 20 years? The Jai family must move out, it's too embarrassing to be here. Shameful, still wanting to be ashamed. She insulted Lang. Cough, why didn't that girl think of this when she was still with Mr. Su? That's right, the sage said, how dare a small force like the Huo family refuse to follow? Besides, if you don't move, you may still be able to live in 20 years. Once you move, you may lose your limbs and shatter on the spot. Hiss. This is too scary, it is worthy of the power of a saint. But, Lang Zon's expression is wrong, why do I feel that he is here to settle accounts? Is that true? No one would sympathize with Jai Qin. She listened to the suggestion of the human traitor Lu Yingren, and she should think of the day when her family will be destroyed. But the people present felt that something was not quite right. It seems that the Cold War is coming this time, it is not a good thing. They thought of the previous rumors that Leng Junyao, the only daughter of the Leng family, was seriously injured in the Star Spirit Pagoda. At the last moment, she had to sign a master-slave contract with Su Mu. Leng Junyao had elementalized her body from a standard human being, and was able to save her life from fatal injuries. Especially when she showed her face today, a well-informed person can naturally see the nuances. For outsiders, this incident can only be regarded as an anecdote. But for the Leng family, who guarded the northern border for 100 years and looked like an emperor, it was an extremely humiliating thing. On the surface, they say they are friends and attendants, but everyone knows that they are essentially pets. It can even be included in the pet space and used as a summoned beast, 100% obedient to the owner. The Leng family Tianzhao, their masters who tried to enter the Central Plains, turned into someone else's pawn. For the proud Leng family, this is unacceptable. Sure enough, Lang Zon's eyes slowly turned and fixed on Su Mu. His tone was unwavering, and he said flatly, "Are you Su Mu?" Su Mu looked back calmly, "It's me." Lang Zon said, "Suicide." Everyone was stunned, he actually said so. But among a group of guests, no one dared to refute. That is a saint-level powerhouse. With one sneeze, Jai Qin was frozen by the rules. They can't stand each other's eyes. Dad, Leng Junyao rushed out suddenly, anxiously said, "I've already explained it to you. I won't go back. I have signed a contract, which can only be terminated by the death of one party. You can't. The props I gave you, you naturally know the content of the contract." Leng Zon said calmly. Leng Junyao hurriedly said, "Dad, I made an agreement with you, It's not for you to talk here," Leng Zon said. Leng Junyao was about to say something, but the other party glanced at her, and she suddenly felt her tongue froze, unable to speak. She was anxious, but there was nothing she could do. "Hello, Uncle Leng." Huang Tianli and others suddenly stepped forward and bowed. Leng Zon glanced at him, and suddenly showed a smile. "The boy from the Huang family is very courageous and dares to talk to me." "Where do you dare? Look, my legs are shaking." Huang Tianli tugged on his trouser legs, and indeed his legs were shaking. "Saint pressure, they seized." Leng Zon said calmly, "What's the matter?" Huang Tianli said, "Brother Su Mu is the highest level partner of my Huang family, I can't just watch him die." Leng Zon looked at him without any fluctuation. "The Huang family wants to protect him. Are you afraid of going to war?" Huang Tianli smiled wryly. "I'm sorry, Uncle Leng. Although my Huang family is not an opponent of the Leng family at all, if Uncle Leng wants to kill Su Mu, we can only fight you desperately with the heart of extermination, CADF." The guests were slightly surprised. The Huang family actually stood in line and fully expressed their attitude. This is not at all like a family that is good at scheming. For the sake of a celestial arrogance, it is actually going against the prosperous Leng family. Leng Zon nodded lightly. "Okay, I've made a note of your threat." Huang Tianli smiled wryly. "It's not a threat, it's just determination." At this time, Wan Nianwei and Chu Chunggao looked at each other and stood up. "Uncle Leng. Master Leng, Brother Su Mu is the highest partner of our family. If you want to do something, we can only do our best. Brother Su Mu will not suffer any harm until the last drop of blood in our family." Everyone was shocked. The Chu family and the Hua family also took the initiative to express their views. Are the three big families now hostile to the strongest Leng family in the north? Although the fighting power is at its peak, the Leng family is crushing. However, if the three families are ruthless, using trade, power, underground, and external secrets, the Leng family will definitely not find good fruit to eat. Moreover, their cooperative family will definitely stumble in the dark. In a real fight, the main branch of the three families may perish, but the Leng family will also suffer serious injuries that cannot be recovered. The Cold War stopped for half a minute before slowly nodding. "Okay, I will take note of the threats from the Chu family and the Hua family." Everyone held their breath, not knowing what he would say. Patriarch Lang, the spokesperson said suddenly, Su Mu is a hero of my Yan League, so don't go too far. Xiao Lang followed him, it's not a disadvantage. Whether I suffer or not is up to my Lang family. Lang Zhan replied calmly, but everyone could feel the domineering in his words. Yanmang, want to stop me? The spokesperson sighed. I can't stop you, but if the Lang family makes a move against Su Mu, Danmang can only re-evaluate the Lang family. See if you are the patron saint of the alliance, or a cancer. Alliance hero, Lang Zhan said indifferently, I have guarded the northern border for 100 years, and I haven't seen any young heroes. I have guarded the gate of the country for 100 years, and Yanmang is going to attack my Lang family for a young man. The spokesman did not speak, but his eyes expressed acquiescence. Lang Zhan shook his head, looked at Su Mu, since Lian Yanmang protects you. The on-site personnel could not help but breathe a sigh of relief when they heard that his attitude had softened. Even the Lang family has to weigh the threat of these enemies. Lang Zhan's tone was indifferent. You take a slap, and I will treat you as dead. How is that possible? Hua Nianwei screamed, you are a saint of several thousand levels, no one can die with a slap. Everyone at the scene also showed expressions of regret. The Cold War seems to have softened a bit, but it hasn't changed at all from before. Saints above level 5000 can kill Su Mu at level 120 with just one breath. The spokesperson also frowned. The Cold War is too much. Lang Zhan shook his head. It has to do with the prestige of my Lang family, it must be so. What if I say no? Fang Jiang next to him suddenly said. Lang Zhan had seen him a long time ago, and turned his gaze at this time, you want to stop me? We can't tell the winner after 50 years of fighting. But even the aftermath can crush him. Fang Jiang's eyes were fierce. Okay, as long as you dare, do it. As long as Su Mu dies, the Academy of Adventism will definitely list you, Lang Zhan, the head of the Lang family, and branches as hunting targets. I will use 80% of the reserves of the Academy of Invention, and return to the heavens and worlds to put in orders. The Lang family will not perish, and the Academy will hunt down to the end. This sentence frightened everyone, and everyone turned blue. These are two saint-level powerhouses, facing each other head-on. As long as they move their hands, there will never be a third living creature on the scene. At that time, the space will be broken and the rules will be distorted. No one will survive the scene. God-level powerhouses have restrictions on their shots, and holy-level powerhouses are almost the top of their combat power. The Cold War also fell into a long silence, and the atmosphere at the scene also froze into ice in the silence. After a long time, he raised his head and said indifferently as always, why? He can understand that the Huang family, Hua family, and Chu family want to be hostile to the Lang family. Why did Wenxiwan want to be hostile to the Lang family, just to save Su Mu? The Zhang family of Origin Stone City, is willing to live and die with Mr. Su. Suddenly, a middle-aged man shouted. Everyone couldn't help but look at him, his face was tense, his face was pale, and even his glasses were unsteady due to cold sweat. But he still shouted tremblingly. If the Lang family wants to deal with Mr. Su, my Zhang family will fight back. The air was silent for 5 seconds, and it seemed that something had been ignited. One person also raised his hand, Hai Lingongqi's family, formerly Mr. Sus Pan. Almost instantly, 2 more people shouted, the Sun family in Yangyang City, stand with brother Su Mu. We live, he lives. We die, he lives. The Chaogong Sheng family has decided to support Mr. Su free of charge, and you can go to the northern border immediately. More and more people straighten their backs, stand up straight, and look at the Cold War. They were sweating coldly and their faces were pale, but they still uttered resolute words. In front of a top family like the Lang family in the northern border, who is completely the emperor of the northern provinces, everyone endured no pressure. If we really want to start a war, everyone here will be the first corpse. But even so, some people overcame their fear and said tremblingly, the Yu family in Baojun is also willing to support Mr. Su. If you do it, you will die together. Afraid of a ball, the Niu family in Pinglan City will join the battle. Lao Su is a third-rate family, and if he can fight with the Lang family, he can be regarded as a glorious family. The Tang family in Tingzhou. Hundreds of families at the scene expressed their attitudes. As the number of people increased, their aura continued to rise. A group of people with the highest level of more than 100 even fought the aura of the Cold War. Bounty. Of course, I will also help Brother Su. An old man smiled and said, Patriarch Lang, I will issue a killing order according to the usual procedures, is it okay? The business hunting group will also provide funds. Brother Su, I'm sorry, our organization's combat effectiveness is not strong. A middle-aged man said, but I will try to hire professionals as much as possible, don't worry. Money is easy to do things. Quote, the Saints' Council is about to discuss whether to make Su Mu one of the Holy Sons. A woman in a white robe raised her head and looked at the Cold War without fear. This time, the Cold War really fell into hesitation. Why, he said, why are you stopping me? So many families and forces, why are they protecting Su Mu? Cold War is confident that he can kill the heads of these aristocratic families one by one, and can also fight well with the leaders of these big forces. But his people, the main branch and branch of the Lang family, couldn't possibly deal with so many opponents. Even if the Cold War can survive to the end, all family members and clansmen will die in the war. Who will he practice and guard for? Moreover, once a shot is taken, it will lead to a civil war in the Yan League. This consequence is unbearable for the Cold War. It seems, Su Mu said with a smile, Patriarch Lang, you don't know me at all. Lang Zhan looked at him with doubts in his calm eyes, who the hell are you? Swish. With a movement of Fang Jiang's finger, an illusory line flicked across Lang Junyao's mouth, and she regained her ability to speak. Patriarch Lang, your news is too ill-informed. Fang Jiang squinted and smiled, it's better to let your daughter tell you personally. Lang Junyao touched her lips, looked at her father, and said firmly, Father, listen carefully. The one standing in front of you now is this year's top scorer in the college entrance examination. The hero of the league, the savior of millions of students. Undead God King, Abyss Mage Reappearance Secret Realm SSS Level Clearer. Kill the owner of the Secret Realm. Those who have cleared the road to madness 7 times. She cleared her throat and spoke again. At the same time, he also thwarted the plot to kill the S-level genius, found and killed the murderer. He destroyed the lurking of the Ghost Clan and captured 3 spies who had been hiding for many years. He is a genius designated by Yanmang, and he will be the most important training target for the next 100 years. He is also the object of free sponsorship of 100 families, a future genius that 100 families are willing to make friends with. He is the focus of attention of the academy, and he will be taken care of by the examiner himself. At the same time, Lang Junyao said loudly, he is still my friend, contractor, master, and the object of my allegiance. The voice fell to the ground, and the scene fell silent. Everyone watched Cold War nervously, not knowing what he would say. Su Mu had already said these words before, which already made Fang Jiang bow down on the spot. And when Lang Junyao said it again, it was equally loud and deafening. But at the end, she still added a sentence with a very strong emotional color. What effect these words will have on Cold War's ears is unclear. After 3 minutes of silence, Lang Zhan raised his head. Boy, your resume passes the test. The Lang family is willing to form an alliance with you. The people around were overjoyed, and at the same time heaved a sigh of relief. Great, there is no need to start a war. But at the next moment, the topic of Cold War changed. But you have damaged my daughter's reputation. As a father, I must get this slap back for her. Dad, Lang Junyao became anxious immediately. I don't agree. I don't care about your reputation. The people next to him suddenly broke out in cold sweat again. This Cold War, why is it so awkward? Whether this is going to be a war or not, let's have a good time. It's too much torment. Su Mu smiled slightly. Okay, Patriarch Lang, you can do it. Su Mu, the speaker exclaimed. Su Mu. Fang Jiang's face was gloomy, his sleeves were squirming, ready to strike at any time. Su Mu said lightly, don't worry, it's fine. Patriarch Lang, please. Everyone at the scene swallowed. This Su Mu, is she looking for death? With a Cold War attack, there is no room for him to survive. Lang Zhan also showed a look of surprise. I was wrong, you don't need their protection. With this kind of heart, it's because I have a small structure. Su Mu smiled and said nothing, stretched out her hand, and made a gesture of please. The spokesperson, Fang Jiang, and all the onlookers held their breath. The muscles of their whole body were tense, ready to protect Su Mu at any time. Cold War walked to the stage neatly. Okay. His hand slapped Su Mu. In full view of everyone, Lang Zhan slapped Su Mu on the shoulder. As if time and space were stopped, everyone was frozen in place, even forgetting to breathe. The speaker's expression was dignified, his eyes unblinking. The guards looked left and right, not sure whether to make a move. Fang Jiang, on the other hand, was expressionless, standing in place like a sculpture. The entire auditorium was so quiet, as if a needle could be heard. 1 second, 2 seconds, comma, not bad, Lang Zhan said suddenly, with a smile on his face, not bad. It's good to have the guts to receive my palm. He raised his hand and patted Su Mu on the shoulder several times. Boom, boom, boom. The sound is not loud, just like the sound of ordinary people directly hooking their shoulders and slapping each other. Su Mu also smiled. Thank you, Patriarch Lang, for your mercy. The people around suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, only then did they feel that their legs and feet were so weak that they almost fell to the ground. The palm of the Cold War is too scary. But he still seemed to give in. The thunder was loud and the rain was little, and he just passed the strength of ordinary human beings on Su Mu's shoulders. If you can't beat it, it's fine. Huang Tianli and the others breathed a sigh of relief, only to realize that their bodies were already drenched in cold sweat. If Su Mu was really slapped to death, they would start a war. The spokesperson also smiled and looked at it approvingly. Lang Junyao's eyes were complicated. She wanted to say something, but she still didn't say anything. She just clasped her hands in front of her body, looking at Su Mu with reverence. The guts are barely qualified. Lang Zhan seldom praised him, but he still asked, you think I didn't dare to do anything, so I didn't hide? Su Mu shook her head. No. Oh. Cold War came interested. What is that? Su Mu smiled. If Patriarch Lang really attacks with all his strength, I can survive. Poochie. Lang Zhan laughed and shook his head. Young man, self-confidence is very important, but don't become arrogant. Su Mu shook her head. No pride. Fang Jiang said. It's okay to be good when you get a bargain. Patriarch Lang is just trying your heart. How could you really make a move? The spokesperson also nodded, and quickly threw the steps. Su Mu shook her head. I'm serious. The people next to him couldn't help but smile. How is this possible? They just pretended that Su Mu wanted to regain his position in the face of the Cold War and insisted on speaking. No one would believe such words. That is a saint-level powerhouse, hitting a master level, one slap in the face. Lang Zhan also said, okay, prove it to me next time. He naturally didn't believe it, but he didn't want to pursue it further. Su Mu smiled and said, no need, I'm telling the truth. Not only can you not kill me, you can't even kill my guards. Chin. Su Mu suddenly drew his sword. This time, no one expected it. The Luyun sword that had just obtained the epic level drew a vast sword light, like Yinchuan flying thousands of miles away, roaring towards Lang Junyao. Everyone was stunned, but no one could stop it. Su Mu's sword is too fast and too ruthless. They can only see this sword, but they can't react at all. For the first time, this group of people had a concrete experience of the power of Su Mu. At the scene, only 2 people could respond. Cold War was taken aback. He was amazed at how powerful Su Mu was, beyond imagination. But this sword, for a person of his level, is still like a slow motion, and can be stopped at any time. But Lang Zhan was about to make a move, but felt a gaze locked on him. Fang Jiang kept his hands behind his back and remained motionless. But the power exuding from his sleeves proved that he was stopping himself. Fang Jiang believed that Su Mu would not be stupid, and his eyes stopped the Cold War, allowing him to watch with peace of mind. Lang Zhan was heartbroken and didn't make a move. But he decided that if his daughter was stabbed, it would be the time for Su Shen to die. The sharp sword light slashed down, and it reached the top of Lang Junyao in an instant. Lang Zhan also became nervous. Lang Junyao didn't even move her pupils, apparently unable to react. This sword, she is dead. And the moment the sword light was about to hit her face. Whoosh! Lang Junyao's figure suddenly staggered and fell forward. And Su Mu's sword light also tilted to the side. Swish. Jian Guang made a big hole in the ground, and the condensed sword energy did not cause any major damage, but directly sank into the ground, and he drilled tens of meters deep before stopping. Lang Junyao stood up abruptly, and then her face turned pale. Almost died yourself. People around also showed surprised expressions. Su Mu actually attacked Lang Junyao. What's the situation? But the sword missed. Obviously Su Mu's subordinates showed mercy. Su Mu put away the sword as usual. Patriarch Lang, do you believe me? Lang Zan was stunned for a moment, then suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, boy, interesting, really interesting. His foresight is so high, he can see at a glance that it is Lang Junyao who has avoided the mortal sword. It's not dodge, or deflection skills, but a class that is biased towards rules, which can essentially avoid fatal damage. This skill comes from the profession, Phantom Cat Demon. Lucky bait. Dodge is permanently increased by 30%. You can dodge a fatal attack. After that, the passive will be invalid and you need a lucky charge. As long as the charge is complete, you can completely avoid the inevitable death. Cold but very satisfied, he patted Su Mu on the shoulder happily. This skill is very powerful. Su Mu is willing to give up such a treasure. Obviously he values Lang Junyao very much. He is also relieved, at least his daughter will not suffer. But Cold War didn't know that this profession came from the Star Spirit Tower. According to the rules of the Trial Continent, after killing a tough monster, the job book will drop. This book is also considered extremely rare, very rare. Its attribute is so strong, if it is not limited to women, Su Mu herself would be a little bit greedy. Good boy, it's not a disadvantage for Junyao to follow you. Lang Zan changed his previous attitude and became very hearty. But you have to remember, if you dare to bully my Junyao, I want you to look good. He wanted to reprimand Su Mu, but thinking that the two parties had nothing to do with each other, he could only throw out a word that was neither hurt nor itchy. Lang Zan looked at Su Mu carefully again, and suddenly frowned. Why are you a botanist? He touched his body, took out a career book from the space device, and slapped Su Mu's chest. Take it, what a botanist shit, it's ugly. Point 0. The spokesman was dumbfounded. Lord of War. Patriarch Lang, you are a craftsman. Everyone couldn't see the item information, so they showed a shocked expression after hearing this. Warlord, that is a legendary class. Whether it is offensive, defensive, or strengthening and commanding friendly forces, it has extremely high blessings. Moreover, if it is not directly obtained the occupation book. To become a warlord requires an extremely tedious and complex synthesis. You need ranger plus villain to become a blaster, warrior plus swordsman to become an assaulter, and then blaster plus assaulter to become a tactician. The other half of the job materials are cavalry plus spearman to become heavy cavalry, priest plus sorcerer to become light attendant, heavy cavalry plus light attendant to become light knight. Finally, the tactician and the paladin are synthesized to become the warlord. Ordinary people want to become a warlord, not only must obtain enough occupations, but also must solve the problem of 2 occupation slots. If a person is lucky enough to get a tactician, he will directly save half of the weight. But unless he is lucky enough to obtain the job book of the Bright Knight, it is impossible for him to become a warlord. There are only 2 career slots, and he doesn't have enough slots for synthesis. It is necessary to rely on a very rare vocational trainer, or a specialized mentor, to temporarily train and integrate sub-professions. Huang Tianli is also a tactician. Looking at the occupation book of the warlord, he is really envious. With the money and power of the Huang family, it would be difficult for him to collect the Bright Knight career book. It can be seen that this book is precious, and the Cold War also paid for it. It's for my uncle, how can it be ordinary? Lang Zan snorted, it's for my daughter. He pulled out another item, the pill. Uncle. A group of people were a little dazed. Didn't they just yell for beating and killing a few minutes ago, and Su Mu is going to commit suicide? How did the attitude change so much? Su Mu also smiled wryly, but holding other people's things, she could only say, thank you, Patriarch Lang. Then what are you doing out there? Lang Zan threw a black box to Lang Junyao. Lang Junyao was a little dazed, and it took a long time before she said, thank you, Dad. She opened the box in the eyes of everyone looking forward to it, and a crystal light bloomed inside. The essence of Ningyu. Fang Jiang showed a surprised expression. What? The essence of condensing rain. That is a high-level holy object. Even take this out, the Lang family really deserves it. What does it mean to be truly willing? That's his daughter. Fang Jiang saw that Su Mu didn't recognize him, so he explained, the sacred object of the Lang family. Do you know what the sacred object is? It was born from the world itself, or from God. It's very precious, whether it is for people or equipment. It can, 787, generate extremely strong increases, and even generate new talents, occupations, and effects. Even if it's me, I didn't get a few holy objects. Lang Junyao was also stunned. She was unable to speak for a long time as she looked at the crystal-clear essence of Ning Yu. Her eyes were slightly red, and the reddest turned into a sore nose. Thank you. Lang Zhan subconsciously wanted to say a few words, but when he saw Su Mu next to him, the words came to his lips and turned into a joke. Take care of my daughter. Otherwise, I won't spare you. Before Su Mu could speak, he turned and left. His steps were a little frivolous, not as indifferent and steady as before. The rest of the people breathed a sigh of relief. The pressure of the Cold War was too great. But he finally let go and just patted Su Mu without exerting any force at all. Even, a legendary level occupation book was given, which is extremely precious. The spokesperson looked at Su Mu with complicated eyes. This young man seems to have a magical power. Very calm, very calm. Whether it's the Pan family, the Jai family, the Wenxi Institute, or the Lang family. Even a saint-level powerhouse stands in front of him with overwhelming power. He was as calm as ever and always gave the best answers. This heart, this strategy, is incomparable. The spokesperson believes that even if Su Mu doesn't have those SSS ratings, those mysterious and peculiar abilities, his rise is also inevitable. Ahem, Su Mu. The spokesperson let out a heavy breath. The awards ceremony should also be over. You are now the hero of the Yanmang legally. As long as you dare to be unfavorable to you, it is a challenge to Yanmang. The ceremony, let's end here. People around me also feel relaxed. There are too many facts that happened today, it is really overwhelming. But they also really saw Su Mu's strength and coping ability. Moreover, his character is impeccable. Whether it is Huang, Chu, and Hua, or the spokesperson, Fang Jiang, they are all willing to support it. Such a perfect talent will definitely change the world in the future. And they will be the first audience. After a sumptuous banquet, Su Mu rejected all the gracious invitations and returned home. Jing Rong was very happy to hear that Su Mu had won the title of lead hero. But she didn't know much about this title, she just felt honored purely. Su Mu went back to the room and piled up the things she got today on the table. Alliance Hero Badge Gold. There is nothing to say about this, the source of the title. In fact, you can wear it or not, it can add a little life value. Su Mu then threw him to the 10 sides. Lu Yun Sword Epic. Dynamic level plus 50, now a level 170 attribute. Body like a light cloud. 20% of the attack will be dispersed like a cloud of smoke. The effect on sharp blades and blunt weapons will be strengthened, and the effect on spells will be weakened. Swaying freely. The figure becomes elusive, as ethereal as a cloud, difficult to lock. It is a very strong weapon, and its attribute level is 170, which is considered particularly high. And the two special effects are also very strong, not only reducing damage, but also making the figure elusive, very suitable for melee combat. Su Mu thought for a while, but he didn't devour the light spirit sword. He is not bad at the attributes of a level 10 weapon. The main light sword is a master level, which can withstand strong enchantments. Speaking of enchanting, Su Mu uses the magic storage class skills, spell storage and spell empowerment. On the Lu Yun sword, 3 exterminations and incineration, from the critical strike of the fireball technique, 2 annihilation techniques, from the critical strike of the destruction curse, 1 magic absorption, the magic storage, and 1 mana source, the magic storage, 1 invisibility conjurer, 1 ley line concealment elemental swordsman, and 1 blessing of all spirits, heart of the jungle. This one has damage and support, and it is really powerful. Killing 2 500-level killers in the auditorium is still very difficult for Su Mu at present, and there is a certain chance and coincidence involved. Those 2 foreign assassins, on the one hand, were assassins with enhanced skills. They were high attack and low imitation, and their health value was not high. Moreover, in order to sneak into the venue without being noticed, they are equivalent to naked without carrying any enhanced equipment and props. And because Fang Jiang was present, they didn't have the heart to go back, and they were defenseless. This gave Su Mu an opportunity to release the skill, Fallen Hammer Legendary .0. Hammer of the Fallen Legendary. Gather all madness and throw a hammer like an enemy, causing 5000x madness aura value plus 1.8 AD chaos damage and generating random chaos effects. Clears all insanity values, but does not restore sanity. Cooling time, 6 hours. This powerful skill comes from the title Crazy God Rampage, which can use the crazy value to make a powerful one-time attack. But after clearing the crazy value, the damage of Hammer of the Fallen will fall to the bottom and become a normal output skill, which needs to be accumulated again. After Su Mu obtained the title of Fury, the aura of madness has never been turned off. So many days have passed, every minute and every second is accumulating crazy values. The Hammer of the Fallen also accumulated a large amount of damage because of this, and only then did it wipe out 2 level 500 assassins in one blow. But now, Su Mu's insanity value is reset to 0, and the damage increase of Fury has also temporarily dropped to a low value. But it's not a big problem, as long as you spend a few days leisurely, the damage will increase slowly. And the Hammer of Fallen will also become a big killing move. Su Mu estimated his own strength, dealt with ordinary enemies around level 200, crushed them, and killed them at will. And if you encounter an ordinary enemy around level 300, with some effort, there is a high probability that you can still defeat it, but you may also be injured. Encountering level 400 enemies will be very difficult. If you use your whole cards, there is a small probability of defeating them, but the kill is doubtful. When you reach level 500, you can only temporarily avoid the edge and cannot fight head-on. Therefore, the most important task for Su Mu is to level up and become more powerful fundamentally. But he has a lot of whole cards, and he really can't beat him. He can also rely on the passivity of the undead to avoid resurrection for a long time, and hide until it is safe. Now Su Mu can be revived within 12,100x level, meters within 7,260x level, seconds after death. The time and space are very wide, and it is difficult for Su Mu to be truly defeated without being besieged by an entire army. Fang Jiang not only gave Luyun's sword, but also an ordinary glass flask, and a lot of potions. Su Mu looked at the glass bottle. Bone Cave Legendary. Bayakao. Put any herbal medicine, decompose and store medicinal properties. Record the formulation of the medicament, and manufacture the medicament according to the properties of the stored medicine. Additional container is required. Other potions can be poured in to obtain a weaker version of the formula. The effect will change with the user's level of medicine. Existing properties. 0.99,999. Existing recipe. 99999. Su Mu showed a surprised expression. This thing looks ordinary, but it is many times stronger than Luyun's sword. A pharmacist is a just needed job, and professionals need to consume a lot of medicine every day. Whether it is a potion that temporarily increases attributes or buffs, or a potion that restores blood or magic, or a potion that strengthens oneself for a period of time, a pharmacist is required to make it. And different pharmacists have different attributes and qualities of the medicines they make. Because it involves skills, it is difficult to replace it with industrial mass production. And if the explanation of the 10,000 bone cave is true, Su Mu only needs to collect medicinal materials and put them into it to continuously produce medicines with stable quality. Collecting medicinal materials is much more convenient than storing them. Pick them at random, throw them into them, and they can be decomposed and stored. There is no need to consider the medicinal properties, mutual generation and mutual restraint of different medicinal materials. When it is needed to use, it can be directly mixed out, which is too strong and convenient. Moreover, Su Mu also has the title of Crazy God Gluttony, who can devour props to obtain this ability. In other words, he can continuously collect medicinal materials and continuously create potions. You can improve your attributes every moment. This is the ability that everyone dreams of. Su Mu was a little surprised, but she didn't have any medicinal materials or formulas at hand, so she could only carefully put them into the space ring. He looked at the large pile of medicines, and the power of these medicines could be felt through the exquisite crystal bottle. Each bottle contains extremely huge power. There are different remarks written on it. Use after level 180, use after level 250, use when the flame skill reaches the level of self-cultivation. These 20 medicines are too expensive. Even if thrown into the cave of 10,000 bones, a weakened version of the formula can be generated. But the corresponding high-grade medicinal materials are difficult to find, and they must not be gathered in a short time. Su Mu thought for a while, and brought out the level 180 bottle and the potion that increases fire skills. He looked at the crystal bottle and used the title ability of Crazy God Gluttony. Devour items. The 2 medicine bottles disappeared instantly. At the same time, Su Mu felt his body swell, as if an elephant had been stuffed into his stomach. Huge energy seemed to support him completely, and tyrannical power flowed in his body. He felt that every cell in his body was constantly being filled, filling it to the brim. Ding. Acquired high-quality experience reserves. 2,500,000,000, 2.5 billion. You can get double experience within the next 2.5 billion experience points, and get more attributes when upgrading. Excessive expectations have been obtained. If you fail the battle before level 180, you may lose experience points. Su Mu was overjoyed at first, and then fell into deep thought. The effect is very good, but there are indeed side effects if taken in advance. His next 2.5 billion experience points will be doubled, which is 5 billion. And after upgrading, you will get more attributes, and each value will be improved. You know, not everyone is a genius. After many people reach a level, they will be stuck here for the rest of their lives, no matter how hard it is. For ordinary people, even if there is one more attribute or 10 attributes, there is a huge difference. And high-quality experience, you can get attribute enhancements in the next dozens of levels. This is not a star, it is worthy of a 180-level epic potion. But because Su Mu is only at level 120, it has not yet reached the requirements for use, and some negative effects have been produced. If you encounter failure and lack of confidence, it will lead to loss of experience. But the problem is not big, as long as it is undefeated. Su Mu can hardly die, and the enemies that Rijiri can't beat are just strategic diversions. Ding! The second potion takes effect. Su Mu felt her body become scorching hot, and the clothes on her body instantly turned into fly ash. Fortunately, it's just the dress I'm wearing today. Although it's gorgeous, it's not high-end equipment. I have obtained the meaning of fire. The effect of all fire spells is increased by 20%. Have obtained Scorching Sun and Heart. Use fire spells, there is a chance to burn yourself. After using the fire spell that causes 2.2 billion points of damage, the effect disappears, and the effect of the intention of fire is increased by an additional 5%. Su Mu raised his eyebrows, but still happily said, "That's right, the fire spell has been increased by 20%. And it can be increased by another 5% after that, for a total of 25%. This potion is really strong. The effect of the original potion is to increase the fire damage by 25% for a short time, and weekly gain the will of fire, strengthening all fire spells. But after devouring, the short-term effect is directly changed into a permanent passive, and the effect is strengthened by more than 10 times. Unfortunately, there are still side effects. Su Mu looked at the pile of golden potions left, and put them all into the space ring. Those medicines are more demanding, and maybe drinking them too early may have strong side effects, so there is no need to take risks. With these things in place, even if Su Mu is unlucky in the future, he will still have enough strengthening materials. He casually put on a piece of clothing and took out a career book. Every character in this career book is glowing with golden light. Just looking at it makes you feel extremely majestic and full of benefits. Letter. Lord of War, Legendary. Su Mu had obtained the best job book before, and was a magic storage rewarded by the Star Spirit Pagoda, which was an epic level. Moreover, the magic storage is still a life profession. Although it is infinitely strong, with super magic resistance and auxiliary effects, it is not suitable for combat after all. Just as Su Mu was about to use it, he felt a wave of vibration coming from the next door. With a thought in his mind, he gained Lang Junyao's vision, and then smiled. "Have you started absorbing the holy object?" Summoning professions such as Heart of the Jungle, Dragon Master, and Elephant Trainer all have the ability to gain pet vision. Su Mu saw that Lang Junyao was sitting on the bed in the guest room, holding a crystal dancing snowflake in her hand, closing her eyes. It was the essence of Ningyu, which Cold War gave to his daughter. According to Fang Jiang's explanation, it was an extremely rare sacred object of the Leng family, and it was gone once it was used. And its function is to strengthen the blood of the Leng family, especially the Xuan profession, so that it can be promoted to a stronger profession. The Leng family rose 100 years ago, and the highest one came out was a saint-level powerhouse. But I heard that 300 years ago, during the dark period of the entire Blue Star, a god-level powerhouse appeared in their family and continued their blood. If Leng Junyao continues to improve and purify her blood, she may be able to touch the divine side. Su Mu looked at it for a while. Leng Junyao's breath was steady, and she probably had to absorb it for a while, then looked away. Use job book. Without much thought, he used the warlord job book. Ding. Obtained the first job. Warlord. Obtained passives. Scarred, Fearless Halo, Weapon Specialization, Precognitive Insight. Initiatives have been obtained. Shockwave, Battle Banner, 3 forms Battle Formation, Common Enemy. Su Mu glanced at the skills, and immediately took a deep breath, as expected of a legendary career book, a warlord, so strong. If this profession is fused by itself, it needs 8 professions, and it can only be obtained after 3 rounds of fusion. Therefore, it combines many advantages of these 8 occupations into one, and its combat effectiveness and functionality are all full. Passive scars provide 40% stamina, directly pulling Su Mu's health to 2 million, even higher than a 300-level professional. The Fearless Halo can strengthen friendly troops, greatly increasing life, mana, and physical recovery speed, as well as various attributes and resistances. The longer the friendly army or legion follows, the higher the bonus will be. Warlord belongs to all weapons, and can have a very high initial proficiency for any type of weapon. Whether it's swords, guns, sticks, muskets, bows and arrows, staffs and magic wands, or code spells, you can get started directly without any proficiency level. Among them, the most mysterious and strongest passive predictive insight can quickly analyze local weaknesses in combat. Whether it is a single enemy or a group, you can quickly find the weakest point and counter it. And the active skills of the warlord are also very powerful. Shockwave is the main output skill. Regardless of single player or group attack, the board bonus is very high. Moreover, there are extremely high knock-up and knock-down judgments, which can form group control. Battle formation is also an output skill, which can temporarily summon swordsmen, spearmen, shield fighters, archers, musketeers, etc., which exist for a short period of time and form a certain tactical advantage. Huang Tianli's tactician profession can also switch between different types of arrow arrays at any time, with effects such as fire, damage, slowness, fear, and freezing for damage or control. And the warlord, as a superior profession, brought war to the extreme. Battle flag is an auxiliary skill, which can be used to insert different types of battle flags for offense, defense, and control free, and improve the combat effectiveness of allies in a short period of 857. Not to mention offense and defense, control free can make the legion temporarily immune to negative effects such as slowness, fear, stagnation, freezing, etc. Whether it is charging or breaking through, it has a powerful effect. But if it only has these skills, it can only be said that the warlord is very powerful. But the last one who shares the same hatred is the core of this profession. Warlords can separate their own abilities, skills, and attributes and temporarily transfer them to followers. Although Su Mu is much stronger than people of the same level, if he faces a high-level enemy, he cannot exert his full strength by himself. For example, it is difficult to read spells in melee, it is difficult to heal when attacking, and it is impossible to quickly evade when using control skills. If these abilities are temporarily shared with followers, he alone is equivalent to owning an entire army. It can cover skills in all directions and capabilities. But in a large-scale battle, you can give the ability to sneak into the beheading assassin, give the powerful spell to the fire suppression mage, and give the melee ability to the stormtrooper. As long as Su Mu is in command, the entire team will become his eyes and arms. As expected of a warlord, it's too strong. Su Mu was a little excited, the strength of this profession was beyond his imagination. However, it is also understandable that for other people, warlord still prefers physics and close combat. Even if abilities can be shared, the most is to share combat skills. It is very difficult to create another archmage, high-level assassin and super nanny. Then the biggest effect is nothing more than strengthening friendly forces and being a super buff machine. But Su Mu's ability is too strong, so this skill can also be used to the fullest. He thought carefully. There are a few things to do next. 1. Increase the level as much as possible, strengthen yourself, and eliminate the excessive expectation debuff. Asterisk 2. Obtain followers and exert the full power of the warlord. Quote. Asterisk 3. Use the fire spell with 2.2 billion damage to eliminate the scorching sun debuff. 4. Towards a higher level. After Su Mu digested the harvest, she received a call from the principal Dao Yingqi early the next morning. Su Mu, there are two things. Number 1. The college entrance examination scores are out, and you are undoubtedly number 1. The admissions teachers from the top 10 colleges have all come to the deserted city. I hope to meet with you and talk about special enrollment. Second, this matter should have been told by Lao Chen to you. After the Yanmeng incident yesterday, the discussion on the killing secret has been accelerated. Now that the results have been released, I need to communicate with you. After Dao Yingqi finished speaking, Su Mu suddenly buzzed. Title obtained. Yanmeng Calendar 304 Champion not worn. Number 1 scholar in 304 years of the Yanmeng Calendar. Make graduates of the same year admire you plus 20%, confidence plus 10%, and sanity plus 4% forever. Su Mu was taken aback for a moment, then smiled. Is that okay? This was an accident, he didn't do anything, and suddenly got a title. It seems that as long as one thing is solid and has a certain degree of people's approval, it can also produce a title effect by itself. The first two effects are almost useless, but the sanity value is permanently plus 4%, which is not bad. Abyss Wise Man is passive, so that Su Mu's sanity will not be lower than 85%. The Eye of Delusion obtained later increases sanity by 10%. It has now been increased by another 4%, so that Su Mu's sanity will not drop by 99%. This is beyond ordinary people. You must know that the exhaustion of physical strength and mana, and the resulting fatigue will also slowly reduce sanity. Permanently locked at 99%, Su Mu can think with constant rationality. Moreover, the negative effects brought about by the previous 7 titles of Mad God have been reduced again. Their psychological impact is negligible, almost at the level of passers-by talking at a distance, and not even comparable to lack of sleep. Dao Yingqi said, of course. The strength you have shown has exceeded Yanmeng's expectations. Of course they must hurry up and negotiate with you. Su Mu knew that the other party would misunderstand, so she didn't explain. Okay, I'll go over now. 17 inches. He showed his strength yesterday, and he really attracted people from the top 10 colleges. Su Mu needs to keep improving, and these institutions are naturally good pedals. There are not only high-quality teaching resources, but also many years of reserves. Su Mu entered with the highest score in years, and he will definitely get a resource tilt. The other is Killing Secret Realm, which will bring good benefits to Su Mu. I believe that after seeing his potential, Yanmeng will not give too low a condition. Before Su Mu went out, she glanced at Lang Junyao. The condensed rain essence in her hand is still rolling, flashing and flashing, but its size has not shrunk in the slightest. It should be a while. Su Mu left without waking her up. The community has been under martial law by various clear and hidden whistles, so there is no need to worry about sneak attacks. Soon, Su Mu arrived at a hotel, opened the door, and there were already 4 people sitting inside. Su Mu is here. Chen Kai, Minister of Internal Affairs of Guangxi City, stood up and happily led the seat. Hi, Su Mu, I'm Shang Latong from Yanmeng Secret Realm Management Office. Hi, Mr. Su, I'm Kui Yu from the Commerce and Trade Management Department. Hello. Several people looked quite tall, and when they saw Su Mu, all of them had smiles on their faces, and they didn't dare to neglect in the slightest. Although they are civil servants, they have received instructions from above and must treat Su Mu as the same level. When they came to Guangxi, they wished to show 200% enthusiasm and let Su Mu feel the warmth like spring. Mr. Su, please sit down. Hungry? Let's chat while eating. I heard from Minister Chen that the refreshments here are really good. But Su Mu raised her hand. Speak directly. The smiles of several people froze on their faces, but they quickly came back to their senses and hurriedly said, "Yes, it's good to talk about things, let's settle the battle quickly." They also understood that this lord is not someone who likes to go around in circles. Don't go around, do what you like, and talk about things directly. Hui Yu from the business management department said, "Mr. Su, after discussion, we have decided to cooperate with you to jointly develop the Killing Realm." Chen Kai smiled and said, "The name of Killing Secret Realm is not very good, now it is our own territory, so don't kill. How about calling it the Mizuki Secret Realm?" Su Mu has no objection, this name has taken away his name, and it sounds nice, yes. Hui Yu continued, Shuimu Secret Realm is a passage world, connecting at least 70 and at most 600 worlds. Yanmang has decided to jointly manage with you in the form of joining. Yanmang is responsible for all security, but correspondingly, I hope to obtain the right to enter and leave for free. For other entrants, it is recommended that you implement a fee system. Each person and each level will be charged at a certain rate. The specific reference table is here, please refer to it. The Yan League will not interfere with this profit. Because it is a passage world, and the Water and Wood Secret Realm is very spacious, we suggest setting up a bazaar to facilitate multi-world trade. If you manage alone, Yanmang will not intervene, but will conduct routine security checks on the goods entering and leaving Blue Star. If you agree that Yanmang will enter and assist in opening the bazaar in the form of franchise, both parties will charge in the form of taxes and distribute them in proportion. Su Mu listened to it, and looked at the reference table, and felt that there was nothing wrong with it. Yanmang has been very sincere, and just asked for an access right, so that professionals can be distributed to other worlds as soon as possible. What Su Mu wants to do is to open a toll booth and be a happy money counter. If you want to get rich, build roads first. Whoever holds the right of way, that's the sound of gold. As for the bazaar, Su Mu decided to let Yanmang join, and the two parties cooperated in the form of shares. This directly became a state-owned enterprise, and he became a major shareholder, only responsible for taking money. The things involved in the bazaar are too complicated. It is impossible for Su Mu to guard for a long time, and it is even more impossible to check all the products clearly. In case someone really transported dangerous goods, he might not be able to recognize it. It's better to let a professional like Yanmang do it, and be a hands-off shopkeeper by yourself. Moreover, Yanmang didn't dare to kick Su Mu out after becoming bigger. As long as he has the right to open the door, he can control the Shuimu Secret Realm at any time, and he is the real master. In a few minutes, the business involving hundreds of billions of trillions was negotiated. Mastering the roads and the market, Su Mu has nothing to do, and the money will flow into his pocket. Moreover, because there is a market, he can also easily find special items and resources. Hui Yu was very happy. Great, Mr. Su, I will report the information, you leave us a few beacons to open the door, and this thing can be put into operation. By the way, I suggest you recruit a professional for setting up card charges. It still involves personnel allocation and building construction, which is quite troublesome. Su Mu was lost in thought. He has no experience in this field, so he doesn't know where to find a professional. At this time, Chen Kai suddenly smiled and said, Su Mu, I have a good suggestion, do you want to listen? Su Mu nodded. Chen developed a message, come on in. Soon, the door of the room was pushed open, and a person walked in. Su Mu looked at her, slightly surprised. Kai Xiaowei entered it, and waved to Su Jun cautiously, hi. Chen Kai introduced. Su Mu, maybe you don't know. RS-level genius, her family is engaged in secret transportation. I'll draw a line in the middle. If you agree, let Kai Xiaowei help you. Kai Xiaowei, the owner of the S-level talent in Wangxi Haonuohao No. 1 Middle School. It was also Su Mu who entered the trial continent, the first person she met, and finally helped her eliminate the parasites and survived. Unexpectedly, they met again a few days later. Kai Xiaowei was afraid that Su Mu would not agree, so she blushed a little and said, Brother Su Mu, my family is engaged in cross-world trade, and I have been in contact with family business very early. I heard that you have a project here, so I want to try it out and see if I can help you. If you don't trust me, I can do it first, and then you have a look at it, and then decide after passing the test. There's nothing wrong with saying this, it's good to have someone with an S-level talent as a manager. Moreover, Chen is now Su Mu's absolute supporter. Yesterday in the auditorium, Su Mu was still touched by the fact that he was going to fight Lu Yingren desperately. With him, an old Zhonghu staring at him, it is not a big problem to make mistakes. Su Mu signed the contract with Kai Yu and Kai Xiaowei without hesitation, and left 100 beacons for them. With the beacon, you can open the door to the Mizuki secret realm anywhere on Blue Star. The matter here has been negotiated, but in Wangxi No. 1 Middle School, a fierce battle took place. Dao Yingqi sat in the first place and received guests with the friendship of a landlord. But the guests didn't give face at all, and they started fighting as soon as they arrived. Su Mu must enter Longdu Vocational University, we are the number 1 school in the league. A teacher said with great momentum. Fart, another teacher yelled. According to the information, Su Mu likes to use fire spells, and our Longdu Skills School has the strongest fire spell major. He is the right way to come here. Another teacher sneered and said, HMPH, rankings are useless. When Su Mu enters Shanghai Vocational University, we will give him 10 special secret realm opportunities, and the income is king. Hiss, Mobu deserves to be rich and powerful. Someone seemed surprised, but actually disdainfully said, my Shandu University will provide 1 piece of epic level equipment every year, and the master level equipment is limited to stars. Su Mu must choose us. It's only up to the gold level as agreed. How can you improve to the master level? No, we at the Southeast United Vocational University will give Su Mu 2 pieces of epic equipment. Someone said angrily. A man in military uniform waved his hand. Stop arguing, Su Mu must enter the Ministry of War, he is the key to expanding territory in the future. I, Yanmeng Combat Technology University, will accept him. I want to fart. Another man in military uniform slapped the table. They are all military academies, and my Yanmeng Professional University ranking is still above you, why should I enter your school? Not convinced. Everyone is a war expert, it's better to make a fist. Come here, whoever is afraid of whom. Bang bang bang. Clap clap. Whoosh whoosh. Swish swish swish. Bang bang bang. Suddenly, the spacious classroom became a mess. Teachers from 10 colleges and universities gathered together to rob people. Su Mu's performance at the Hero Award ceremony was watched by everyone. This kind of genius, if you get it, you can earn it. It only needs to be cultivated for 4 years, and it is only 8 or 10 years longer. You can get decades, even hundreds of years of honor. This kind of thing, everyone wants to have it in their hands, wishing to swallow Su Mu alive. They didn't dare to neglect, even if their location was thousands of miles away from the deserted city, they got up immediately and traveled all day and night, just to get there quickly. Some cities are in enclaves outside of human influence, unable to use normal means of transportation, and immediately passed through several secret worlds, and arrived in a circle. And as soon as they arrived, they saw the ambitions of other colleges before they met anyone. How can this be tolerated? Everyone is willing to spend their money and give the best to Su Mu. However, these 10 top vocational schools, professional universities, and technical schools, skilled schools all have very strong family backgrounds. It's really hard to see the bottom line at all. You can give the epic level, I gritted my teeth, the legendary level is not impossible. After all, there is only one person, even if the school assets are sold, Su Mu must be provided with the best equipment. But you have taken the legendary level, my teacher here, no matter what, I have to invite the best. And let the most powerful fire professional in the school develop the most suitable teaching plan for Su Mu. Each family has a lot of chips, and there is no end at all. Since everyone is a professional, let's see the truth in terms of strength, let's grab people from the head. Thunder ring, rock fly, vertigo, frozen ball, aurora holy sword, seal vigor. Immediately, spells and skills flew together in the classroom, and melee and fae fought together. Fortunately, someone was careful and threw an enchantment to limit the battlefield and damage to the classroom. There are 2 recruiting teachers who are life professionals and cannot compete with combat professionals. But they looked at each other, and cruelly took out the high-level group poison and the scroll of chaos, to show this group of people the strength of their school. Boom! In the enchantment, the fight is indistinguishable. Ju, stop fighting. Principal Dao Yingqi looked at the battlefield below with a wry smile, at a loss. He thought of robbing people, but he didn't expect to rob people physically. Before Su Mu came, they got together first. Dao Yingqi felt depressed at the same time. His classroom was beaten into a mess, and the whole classroom would be demolished later. If it weren't for this powerful barrier, the entire building, or the entire school would have been demolished. At the same time, he also felt happy in his heart. Su Mu is worthy of being a dragon and phoenix, a first-class genius. In the top 10 colleges and universities, how many students can enter in previous years, is a joyous, great event. But now, every family has sent people, and for the sake of Su Mu, they put down their arrogance and fought with other schools. This was completely beyond the scope of Dao Yingqi's imagination, which made him extremely proud. With Su Mu, it is the whole school, the whole deserted city, and Dao Yingqi's glory. But he also fell into depression. Oh, these people are fighting, how can I persuade them to stop? The peak of Dao Yingqi's combat power is level 100, but his old age and blood decline, plus decades of education, he has not entered the front line, and now his combat power is only level 8. Looking at this group of masters from various colleges and universities, there will be no way for a while. Fortunately, someone helped out soon. As Su Mu here, the extremely solid and powerful barrier was pushed open, and a man dressed as a Taoist walked in. Dao Yingqi subconsciously said, Su Mu hasn't come yet. But the other teachers were not happy. Which school are you from? It's busy here. Let's go. If you are free, you will definitely enter Long Vocational School. Fart, it's obviously Yanmang Battle School. It's me, Donglian United Vocational School. Come on, keep fighting. Whoever wins will take it away. The Taoist stood at the gap in the barrier, lost in thought. Dao Yingqi's pupils shrank before he realized it. The powerful enchantment is originally a hole, and the energy on it will flow on a field like a stream of water. Once it is broken, other energies will cover it and fill the gap. Like water, it always goes downhill. But this Taoist actually pushed open this flowing enchantment, just like pushing open a door, simple and easy. And that gap didn't heal, but was left naturally. It was as if there was something in the middle that blocked the energy like water, revealing an open space. Dao Yingqi was horrified. This method is not something ordinary people can do. At this time, the Taoist said, you said that if you win the battle, you can take Su Mu away. A teacher snorted. Want to rob someone? Ask about my sword blade. Before he finished speaking, he raised his sword towards the Taoist doctor. Dao Yingqi hurriedly shouted, no, he. Before he finished speaking, his pupils shrank. That teacher and his sword were thrown out of the sky in an instant. In a few milliseconds, he has become a small dot in the sky far away. Dao Yingqi could only pray for him silently, hoping that he would have the ability to slow down the fall. At this time, the other teachers also came back to their senses, stopped their hands one after another, their noses were bruised and their faces were swollen, and they looked at the Taoist priest vigilantly. They suddenly became angry with each other. This person is a bit strong, deal with him first, and then solve it internally. It is good. Can. Go. Subdue him. Swish. Bang bang bang. Frozen ball. Aurora holy sword. Half a minute later, there were only 2 people left in the classroom. The Taoist clapped his hands, straightened the corners of his clothes, which were still clean, and said to Dao Yingqi, you want to take Su Mu away too? Dao Yingqi's face turned pale, and he quickly waved his hands. No, no, I'm his former principal, and I'm planning to enroll him. The Taoist didn't continue to do it. After about 10 minutes, Su Mu pushed the door open and entered, wondering, didn't you mean the top 10 colleges and universities? Why is there no one? Adertisement. Dao Yingqi smiled all over his face. Su Mu, come here, let me introduce, this is the apprentice of Lord Kangqing. Lord of Kangqing. Su Mu's pupils shrank. Those who dare to use this name are most likely to be god-level powerhouses. At this time, the person dressed as a Taoist priest said, I am Kangqing, it is difficult for the teacher to enter the Blue Star world, please ask me to accept disciples on your behalf. Su Mu was slightly surprised, but also a little puzzled. I thought it was the top 10 schools that recruit students. Kang Chen said, you don't want to worship the Lord of Kangqing as your teacher. Before Su Mu answered, Dao Yingqi smiled all over his face. Yes, why not? Su Mu, nod quickly. What 10 famous schools, in front of god-level powerhouses, are nothing but bigger ants. At that level, everyone is a super weapon capable of destroying the world, with strategic significance. It is no longer necessary to care about secular matters, every move affects the rise and fall of the entire ethnic group. Seeing that Su Mu was still thinking, Dao Yingqi said, Su Mu, why are you still hesitating? The Lord of Kangqing is a god. If you can follow him, you will be blessed. Besides, all the people from the top 10 famous schools came just now, and they were all driven away from the semi-sage. It was only then that Su Mu realized that the unattractive man dressed as a Taoist priest in front of him turned out to be a semi-saint. The level is between 4,000, 5,000, surpassing the king level, but not reaching the holy level. The 6 apprentices of the Kangqing Lord have this level, and his strength is really amazing. Also because he is too powerful, he will be rejected by the world instead, making it difficult to return to Blue Star. Kong Chen said, what are you doing in a daze, are you willing or not, just a word. Dao Yingqi nodded hastily. Yes, of course. Having a god-level powerhouse as a backer is stronger than anything else. He quickly poked Su Mu. Su Mu, promise. Kong Chen also looked at Su Mu. Don't waste time, after becoming a teacher's student, you have to be ordained to become a monk, say goodbye to your family, and go to the secret realm of Xinghai, there are still many things to do. Farewell to family. Dao Yingqi was taken aback suddenly. Kong Chen said, yes, the teacher likes the style of the ancient continent. Before he can finish his studies, he needs to practice quietly and not go home. This. Dao Yingqi also hesitated. Hearing this, Su Mu shook her head slowly. I'm sorry, from the semi-sage, I want to let down the kindness of you and the Lord of Kangqing. Dao Yingqi was dumbfounded. Su Mu turned down the invitation of a god-level powerhouse. Are you sure? Kong Chen frowned. There is only one invitation from the Lord of Kangqing. I can pretend that I didn't hear what I just said. Dao Yingqi quickly grabbed Su Mu. Don't worry. Think again. Maybe there is room for negotiation. Su Mu still shook her head. I'm sorry, I still have family members, and I don't intend to abandon them. Okay. Kong Chen grinned. I see. Dao Yingqi was dumbfounded. He thought it was a chance, but Su Mu turned it down. Although family is very important, it is not impossible to give up some things to become the apprentice of a god-level powerhouse. Moreover, even if you can't go home, you can still give some benefits back, and there is no conflict. Furthermore, Kong Chen also drove away the admissions teachers from the top 10 famous schools. Is Su Mu going to be in a situation where he has no colleges to go to? Number 1 in the league, and finally graduated from high school. At this time, Kong Chen suddenly said, the teacher guesses that you still have thoughts, and allows you to go home for the first 5 months. After that, if you don't reach the holy level, you must concentrate on practicing. Dao Yingqi's eyes lit up, and he hurriedly said, Su Mu, agree. He doesn't agree. Outside the door, 3 people suddenly walked in. The leader was a man with a square face and a scar on his face, followed by a man and a woman, who did not hide their aura, exuding an aura no weaker than that of Kongchen. Kong Chen frowned slightly. Shenhe Camp. Dao Yingqi's eyes widened. Shenhe Camp. It's actually true. The man with a square face showed his teeth and smiled. Let me introduce myself, the deputy battalion commander of the Shenhe Battalion, Shi Li. Su Mu, hello, we have come to ask for your permission to participate in the 7th training session of the Shenhe Battalion. Seeing that Su Mu had never heard of the Shenhe Camp, Dao Yingqi hurriedly explained, I have heard of the Shenhe Camp for a long time, but I didn't expect it to exist. They are not an organization or a force, but a training camp jointly held by many organizations and powerful people including Yanmeng. Shi Li nodded. The old gentleman is right. Every issue of the Shenhe Camp will call the current generation's talents to participate in a large-scale strategy. Every time you win a little bit of victory, there will be rich rewards. You don't have to have a psychological burden. The Shenhe Camp is just an experience, and it doesn't need your allegiance. Your strength has surpassed 99% of your peers, so going to a top 10 elite school is a complete waste of time. Su Mu asked, what is your purpose? Purpose? Shi Li smiled lightly. you can understand that we are doing charity out of our pockets, and we don't need any contribution from you. The only requirement is to be loyal to the human race and pour all the skills you have learned on the heads of the foreign race. Of course, the ultimate goal is that you can ignite the divine fire and illuminate the blue star in the endless darkness. Su Mu understood a little bit. This is a Tianzhou training camp. The only goal is to train the strong and protect human civilization. The investment in this thing is bottomless, and the rise of every strong person will inevitably consume massive resources. They are also betting heavily on the future of these people. Su Mu shook her head. Not enough. He has the talent of omnipotent godhead. Even without the help of others, he can continue to improve. Joining this kind of training camp will actually get in the way. Shi Li smiled and said, "Don't worry, the Shenhe camp will not impose any restrictions on you, you can continue to do what you should do. You can understand it as a condensed version of the Bounty Guild. If you complete the task of the Shenhe camp, you will get props, equipment, skill books or other high-quality rewards." And, he paused, the world in this issue is expected to produce world wonders, holy objects, and artifacts. Su Mu suddenly became interested. Wonderful things in the world. Shi Li nodded. That's right, every session of the Shenhe camp is in the world of war, using blood and fire to experience. The secret realm where the 7th phase is now located, it is very likely that the above-mentioned items exist. Adertisement. Su Mu rubbed her chin, thinking. Kong Chen frowned, and said, Su Mu, if you follow the teacher, you will be guided by a god-level powerhouse, so don't miss it. Point 0. Su Mu looked at Kong Chen, and said politely, I'm sorry, Lord Kangqing's path is different from mine, this is not the best choice. Kong Chen took a serious look at him, sighed, and threw out a package. No fate, that's all. The teacher asked me to entrust you with a word. Here is a prepaid thank you gift, please save his life in the future. What? Dao Yingqi was shocked. Save the life of Lord Kangqing. That's all for now, Kong Chen said cleanly, turned around and left. Dao Yingqi was still immersed in shock, and looked at Kong Chen even more. Can the Lord of Blue sense the ending of killing in the future? The solution lies in Su Mu. No wonder there was a lot of excitement in the void these 2 days. Several god-level powerhouses had a fight, and finally the Blue Lord won. He wanted to accept Su Mu as an apprentice, but it was to save himself. Shi Li glanced at Su Mu again. It seemed that this kid would surely be able to ignite the divine fire in the future, obtain the godhead, and ascend to the highest position on the page. Only then can he make a move to save the life of another god. Thinking of this, Shi Li smiled and said, we have to say, take it. If you are interested, you can reach the top furnace secret realm within half a month. With the divine fire order inside, you can contact the instructor of the place to obtain relevant information. Su Mu received another package. Shi Li didn't wait any longer, and left with his people. Dao Yingqi's eyelids twitched. This child, why is he so worried? The 10 famous schools have already been beaten away, and although they will come back, they are still not as good as the god-level powerhouse the master of Kangqing personally taught. Su Mu turned it down. And the Shenhe camp invited him to participate, but they didn't accept it on the spot. Dao Yingqi is going crazy. Is this kid going to become a high school graduate? Chapter 101. Su Mu is not opposed to going to the top furnace secret realm. He must upgrade. I heard that this is a war world, there must be many alien monsters. It is perfect for gaining experience. As for the Shenhe camp, we can look at the situation after we pass by. If you can hunt monsters while looking for world wonders, Suanon can awaken his talent. It is not bad to be able to complete the missions of the Divine Fire Battalion and get more rewards. Seeing Dao Yingqi beside him, he said, don't worry, I will go to the top furnace secret realm. Dao Yingqi thought he was going to participate in the Shenhe camp, so he breathed a sigh of relief, and immediately cheered up. Okay, that's good. I just heard a few words about this secret realm, and I don't know the specific location. Maybe you can issue a mission in the Bounty Guild to find a pathfinder. I'll find a friend to ask, go there as soon as possible. Su Mu didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and quickly dissuaded her, no need, I will arrange it myself. After returning home, Su Mu opened Kong Chen and Shi Li's packages. Kong Chen's, 583, Package is very simple, inside are some advanced props and a folded painting. The props are all stuck at the highest level that Su Mu can bear, and he used Mad God Gluttony without hesitation. Devour. Ding. Devour Astral Healing Potion. HP recovery plus 50,000 points per second. Flask of Devouring Void. When using stealth skills, the effect of stealth is increased by 100%. Devouring Green Leaf Blade. The effect of natural swordsmanship is increased by 25%. Swallow Shocking Vitality Potion. Inspire the effect of ambition and ambition when receiving damage, and gain higher and higher physical recovery speed and movement speed. After a while of devouring, the attributes have increased by a bit. The items of the Kangqing Lord are also carefully selected, and each item has a good effect. Su Mu looked at the painting again. Just as he was about to unfold it, a flash of vigilance suddenly flashed in his heart. What's wrong with a painting? Su Mu thought about it, and felt that at most she would lose one life, and at 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, she filled up again and opened the face. He saw a sword shadow covering hundreds of millions of miles of stars. It seems that the entire universe has been drawn a frightening crack by this sword shadow. Trillions of worlds were swallowed by the sword light and disappeared into the void. Su Mu was deeply regretted by the earthquake and could not recover for a long time. After he regained consciousness, he realized that he was drenched in sweat, his energy and stamina had bottomed out, but he was recovering at a high speed. 10 minutes have passed. Su Mu was shocked to find out that some time had passed by just looking at it. My sanity value has been locked at 99%, and I am still attracted into it, unable to extricate myself. The level gap in the middle is really too big, and this sword shadow is not hostile, so it was not actively rejected by reason. Su Mu was a little surprised. Jian Ying only consumed 1% of his sanity and lost his mind for 10 minutes. If ordinary people saw this painting, wouldn't they be deeply trapped in it, and they would not be able to escape even until death? This painting is absolutely extraordinary, and the Lord of Kangqing also spent a lot of money in order to have a relationship with Su Mu. After all, he had a premonition of the future. Su Mu could save his life. Su Mu felt that his use of the sword had improved to a higher level just by glancing at the sword light. Can command the sword like an arm, changing freely. He even felt that he could combine different skills to produce a compound effect. Afterwards, spend some time every day and study hard. Su Mu put away the painting and opened the package in Shinha camp. Inside is a skill book, an exquisite firearm, and a ring. The skill is Deadly Sniper, silver grade, looks very inconspicuous. But its effect is to imbue the energy value, so as to get farther and farther range. Hiss, can you increase the range? Su Mu was a little surprised. Some skills are low level, but the effect is stronger than high level. Su Mu learned immediately, picked up the gun, pointed it out of the window, and began to instill energy. 500 meters, 1 kilometer km. 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, 50 kilometers. It was not until 100 kilometers that Su Mu put down his gun profusely. The greater the distance, the energy consumed is exponential. He can currently shoot up to 100 kilometers, and can fire up to 5 shots. It's so strong. Su Mu was overjoyed. This skill is so powerful, it can reach 100 kilometers, and it is a BVR strike. It's a pity that there are some restrictions. You can only use shooting skills. There are also ground battles, which will block the line of sight. Unless you fly, it is impossible to reach the farthest range. If someone hears this, I'm afraid Xuan will vomit blood on the spot. 100 kilometers, which is already the distance between the two cities. Being able to hit City B with one shot in City A, and still pick and choose, thinking that you can only use shooting skills, isn't this Versailles? Thinking of this, Su Mu simply jumped out of the window, controlled the ring of salt and iron, manipulated the salt in his body, and flew towards the sky. Just now he was aiming at the sky, there was nothing to shoot at. This time Su Mu flew to a very high altitude, and the regiment aimed the sight in any direction. With a range of 100 kilometers, the light of its warning range is staggering. It's a pity that the energy consumption is very fast, even Su Mu can last for tens of seconds at most. Su Mu frowned suddenly, and saw a man chasing a girl 50 kilometers away. .0. He couldn't hear what he said, but when he saw the obscene smile on his face, he knew it was not a good thing. The girl looked terrified and backed away tremblingly, and was soon forced to a dead end, trembling against the wall. Su Mu tapped on the bullet of the gun, and enchanted it to destroy the world and burn the prison. But after thinking about it, I decided to remove the bullet and replace it with enchanted paralysis. For a little rogue, there is no need to play AoE. Boom. Firearms. The Destiny Breaker spews out flames, and the bullets roar out, shooting towards a distance of 50 kilometers. Deadly Sniper improves not only the shooting range, but also the ballistic assistance of the corresponding range. Coupled with Su Mu's agility of 250,000, he is completely able to point and hit. Whoosh whoosh. There was a sound of breaking through the air, and the three of them flew towards Su Mu quickly, with vigilant expressions on their faces. Seeing that it was Su Mu, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Zhuangyuan Lang, whoever I thought was shooting, it turned out to be you. Su Mu nodded towards them, knowing that they were secret whistle masters who performed protection tasks in the community. Sorry, I'm trying my skills. After all, he casually threw a few buffs on them. Blessing of all souls, Deep Forest Halo, Fear Barrier, Toxin Reduction, Vitality, Protection and Blessing, Purity of Mind. A few secret whistles were taken aback, feeling that their attributes had more than doubled. Moreover, their various resistances and recovery speeds have also been enhanced several times. There is even a layer of shield hidden on his body, which can at least block attacks twice as much as his life. These buffs have extremely high duration on the board. If you don't participate in the battle, it can last at least a week. With double the attributes, training for a week, the effect can be better than the previous 0.8 training for a month. Anxiao was shocked. The object of protection was much stronger than them. Su Mu asked, is there anything else? The secret sentries were already amazed. It's okay, Zhuangyuan Lang, if you want to test it, just say it. Su Mu nodded. Okay, then I'll go back. By the way, towards the northwest, at 52 kilometers, there should be a hooligan with a leg injury and paralysis, so he won't die. The whistlers were surprised. What? 52 kilometers? What kind of weird distance is this? Could it be that Su Mu just tested his skills and hit someone 52 kilometers away? Anxiao nodded immediately. Okay, we will arrange for people to arrest immediately. However, please go with him. The paralysis doesn't last long. He should be awake now. We need to compare the facial information. No need. Su Mu shook his head. It will take another 20 days for him to wake up. A group of secret whistles were startled. What kind of paralysis is this? For 26 days, shouldn't this last for 5 or 10 seconds and end? When they looked at Su Mu again, there was already fear in their eyes. Su Mu ignored them, controlled the ring of salt and iron, and returned home. In the next 7 days, he began to make preparations for going to the top furnace secret realm. The first is to crazily brush the title. With the blessing of high attributes, he is almost tireless and does not need sleep. Intermediate Warrior. Swing sword 5 million times, be attacked 100,000 times, restore 1 million HP. Su Mu gave himself several times of destroying the world and burning prisons, directly burning his life to the bottom. After the 2 million health is full, this title is also in hand. Intermediate Warrior. All physical damage increased by 15%. In addition, the previous junior fighters were not replaced by the upgrade, and they took effect at the same time. Su Mu's physical damage has been increased by 20%. He looked at the conditions of the senior fighters, and he needed to recover 20 million health points. Okay, let's burn it a few more times. Destroy the world and burn the prison. Destroy the world and burn the prison. Destroy the world and burn the prison. Ding. Title obtained. Advanced Warrior, not worn. Superior Warrior. All physical damage increased by 30%. Now the 3 titles are superimposed, and all physical damage is directly increased by 50%. Top 20 Invincible. Su Mu followed the same pattern and began to use these few days to continuously do complicated things to obtain titles that can be accumulated. Intermediate and Advanced Spellcasters. Spell bonus increased by 15%, 30%. The titles of the 3 levels are superimposed, and the spell effect is increased by 50%. Su Mu continued to use summoning skills, relying on endless mana, summoned more than 10 pets every second, and then quickly disbanded. Ding. Have summoned 50,000 summoned objects, and obtained the title, Senior Summoner Not Worn. Advanced Summoner. The damage of all pets, followers, and summons is increased by 30%, the value of life is increased by 50%, and the movement speed is increased by 30%. Ding. Have collected 50,000 fruits and obtained the title, Senior Collector Not Worn. Advanced Gatherer. You can better collect items and greatly retain their original effects. There is a chance to have a critical hit, get better quality, or more quantity. Ding. Created 2,000 weapons and obtained the title, Intermediate Blacksmith Not Worn. Intermediate Blacksmith. Forge equipment attributes, effects increased by 15%, and have a chance to produce additional effects. More materials can be obtained by dismantling equipment, and there is a probability of critical strikes to obtain better or more materials. Stamina increased by 10%. Ding. Have accumulated 60 hours of diving, and obtained the title, Intermediate Diver Not Wearing. Intermediate Diver. Lung capacity increased by 30%, stamina increased by 6%, and physical exertion decreased by 8%. Su Mu gets new titles as much as possible, and these titles are comparable to titles obtained from monsters, secret realms, and rewards after reaching intermediate or advanced levels. And those who have won these titles are no longer as disgusted as they were when they were juniors, but wear them proudly. Just imagine, a nanny who has sucked millions of other people's blood is also happy to use the title of senior therapist. Not only can it increase the amount of treatment by 30%, but it can also be used as a symbol of honor. Of course, some people like to expose their titles for others to admire, while others like to keep a low profile and hide their titles. For ordinary people, a high-level title, plus 30% or 40% attributes, is too strong. However, Su Mu put on everything she could wear at once, each of which provided massive bonuses, and her attributes skyrocketed again. Dozens of titles were put on him, and an additional new title was obtained. Know it all. The effect of all cumulative titles is increased by 5%. Adding only 5% may seem like a small amount, but in front of dozens of titles, it provides tens of thousands of attribute points. In the past few days, Su Mu also visited the Shuimu secret realm. He was a little surprised. Kai Xiaowei moved very quickly, and had already set up offices inside and outside the gate of the secret realm to charge and manage the secret realm. So fast. Su Mu was a little surprised. Kai Xiaowei smiled slightly. This is a miniature camp for props, and if you pour your spiritual power into it, you can quickly build a model house. It's a pity that it has a limit on the number of times. Once it is used 3 times, it will be destroyed. But in a fixed place, just put it down, and don't need to put it away. She gave Su Mu a miniature camp, and Su Mu took it without thinking too much. At that time, I will draw the money from the income. Kai Xiaowei smiled sweetly. No need, just a little thing. Boss, I will store the proceeds from the Mizuki secret realm in my account. Aunt Jingrong and Ms. Anan can use them at any time. Su Mu nodded. Well, you can just look after it. Kai Xiaowei handled things very neatly. Su Mu went to the secret realm for a few days, so she didn't worry about it. Su Mu went to see Su Anan again. She is in good condition and has started to walk slowly. Every time he recovers, Dean Lin will lead a group of experts to wait carefully. Dr. Hu Qian, as the attending doctor and bed manager, has risen in status, and others are envious and jealous. Su Mu contacted Luan Yuan, the chairman of the business hunting group, and bought some necklaces, rings and other items. He used the skills of the magic storage to add magic to it. Long-lasting recovery, healing, energy recovery, elemental affinity, obsidian skin, magic absorption. These spells will continue to take effect, improving the physique of the mother and sister. In case of danger, it can also generate a powerful shield magic, so that the outside world can release a distress signal. However, I believe that no one would be so foolish as to dare to take the risk of a sneak attack under the heavy protection of the deserted city. After finishing everything, Su Mu prepared tons of food and drinking water and threw them into the space ring. At the same time, I also bought a lot of equipment, weapons, consumables, ammunition, and spell-casting materials. Once you are ready, you can set off. Lang Junyao has entered into a long-term samadhi after using the condensed rain essence holy object. Seeing that she had no intention of waking up at all, Sumu estimated that it would take some time. Simply find a summoning trainer, activate the pet space, and put Lang Junyao in it. After doing all this, Sumu found the Bounty Hunters Guild. Top Furnace Secret Realm is a war world, the way to go is immature and needs someone to lead the way. He walked to the front desk. I want to recruit a Pathfinder and go to the top furnace. Before the front desk could speak, a man next to him came up. The top furnace secret realm, that is a high-level world, any monster has level 100. How many levels are you? Don't go to die. Sumu showed her rank and said with a smile, it's all right. When the man saw level 120, he immediately waved his hand. Don't go, why are you crazy, go there to die. But Sumu said, it's okay, there are some things, I have to go. Oh, I'm looking for death. The man couldn't persuade him, so he had no choice but to walk away. The lady at the front desk also said, he is right, you are only level 120, and you can only farm ordinary monsters there, the risk factor is too high. Sumu smiled lightly, it's okay, I know. Hey, 500 yuan registration fee, no one accepts orders today, and an extra 200 yuan is needed every day. The young lady sighed and hung up the task anyway. At the same time, she kept an eye out, marked this task as abnormal, and submitted a certificate. At this time, a tall and thin man just walked into and saw the task board, who sent the guide to the top furnace secret realm. Sumu raised her hand, me. The tall and thin man glanced at Sumu, he couldn't help being taken aback, but soon smiled kindly, okay, our team happens to be going there too, so I'll take you along. But you are level 120. We need to spend more energy to protect it, and we need to add some money. Sumu nodded. Yes, how much? The tall and thin man raised a finger, 5 million. Sumu nodded decisively. Yes, but let's go now. The tall and thin man was startled, and immediately smiled. Okay, my name is Buzzhang, let's set off right away. Sumu asked. No advance payment required. Buzzhang smiled all over his face. No, you trust us so much, don't worry about such trivial matters. Sumu glanced at the eye of nothingness hidden in the energy plane, and wanted to say that your greed and malice are about to overflow. But he doesn't care, as long as the other party knows the way to the top furnace secret realm. The two talked and laughed on the surface, and quickly left the Bounty Guild Hall. About half an hour later, a man rushed in and shouted, where is Mr. Su? The one who submitted the task just now. The front desk was surprised. Director Yu. The Chilling Hunters have accepted the commission and have already set off. What's the matter? Director Yu turned pale with shock. What? How can you let him step in and take the task? That guy has a tricky mind. It's over. Where is Mr. Su going? Top furnace secret realm. The front desk nodded. Director Yu thought about it for a moment. This task will be cancelled from the system and kept highly confidential. If one more person finds out, you will be dead. The front desk was taken aback. Director Yu slapped the table. In the name of the Bounty Guild, issue a pointing mission. Please Qinghe, find Mr. Su and protect him all the way. Sumu followed Chilling Hunters and drove to a remote farm 300 kilometers away. It is located in the wilderness, but there is a wide driveway. Cars come and go, full of goods. Buzzhang skillfully walked into a small room, paid the money, and led a few people through the gate of the secret realm. To get to the top furnace secret realm, you need to go through 7 worlds. He explained, if it is fast, it will take 4 days, and if it is slow, it will take 7 days. This is the world of Shenong number 54, which is suitable for planting and animal husbandry. It is the largest secret land of grain production around the deserted city. Step is like a guide, introducing the customs of the world. Sumu looked around and saw that the scenery was picturesque, with regular fields everywhere. Not every world has monsters and flames of war, and there are also such production-oriented secret realms responsible for output. Similarly, there are resource-type and industrial-type secret realms. The former has resources that can be produced for thousands of years, while the latter often has powerful geothermal, tidal, and magic wave energy, which can greatly reduce energy demand. We need to travel 1,000 kilometers on Shenong 54 to the 80-string world in Yuyang. 1. There is a car here, which is more convenient and safer. Buzzhang was familiar with the road, found someone, got a car, and a group of people continued on the road. Su Mu is like a curious tourist, looking at the scenery outside the car. At this time, a person walked up to Buzzhang. "Captain, why don't you do it now?" Buzzhang slapped him on the head. "Idiot, this is the area of Yanmang, it's too easy to leave traces. Go to the third secret realm, it's easy to do it there." The man could only say oh. The Chilling Hunter group actually consists of 4 people, including the 210 level Captain Buzzhang, son of the Beast Plus adventurer, who is good at transformation and assault. Sheng Xinyu, level 190, single guerrilla career, good at roaming and flank harassment. Fei Xin, level 201, gladiator plus light cavalry, good at charging and attracting hatred. Duan Hongli, level 176, necromancer plus guard, good at summoning cannon fodder monsters and adding a buff. These 4 people's levels are not low, and they are already considered masters in the peaceful Blue Star. But in thousands of secret realms, gods and lords coexist, and the wars have lasted for hundreds of thousands of years. They can only be trembling, not daring to show their heads blindly. This group of people want money, but their minds are not right, and they always do things that violate justice and morality. Not a good reputation in the Bounty Guild. Sheng Xinyu was reprimanded by Buzzhang. He was not convinced, thought for a while, and said again, "Anyway, this guy is going to die, why don't you let him pay the money first? I'm afraid that something will happen in the future. It's not good to be swallowed by monsters and damage the money." Buzzhang was lost in thought, and when he offered 5 million yuan as a guide fee, Su Mu agreed without hesitation. This is a fat sheep, the treasure on him must be more than 5 million. Buzzhang thought about it, and in this situation, money is second. Go to a place where there are no people later, and take Su Mu away, and you will definitely find a lot of things on him. But if you get the money out in advance and get 5 million more, it would be good. He nodded. Okay. Sheng Xinyu smiled and walked to Su Mu's side. "Brother Su, you can see that we are leaving, let's pay the travel expenses first." Su Mu glanced back, suddenly smiled and said, "Yes." He took out his mobile phone and tapped twice, no signal. Sheng Xinyu said, "The rules are different in different worlds. The signal in this world is poor, but it's okay. I will take you to the site to transfer money later, just need to go around a bit more." Su Mu waved his hand. "No need, can we use props instead?" He took out a bottle of glittering potion and made a wish in front of Sheng Xinyu. Sheng Xinyu played an identification technique and was ecstatic. Level 200 epic potion. "This thing is worth at least, 5 million, which is about the same. I'm at a loss, so I accept it. This thing is outside, tens of millions may not be able to buy it." Sheng Xinyu glanced at Su Mu, his heart was filled with unbearable excitement. This kid is not only a fat sheep, but also a fool. Hey, why is there a seal? He suddenly discovered that there was something outside the crystal bottle. Su Mu said, "I will unlock the seal after arriving at the top furnace secret realm. Don't worry, the seal is very strong and will not damage the effect. The seal can last for 7 days, and it will be given to you at the place." Sheng Xinyu originally wanted to order to untie it, but after hearing this, he felt at ease. This kid can't survive 7 days. He is not in a hurry now, he can take out the epic potion for the travel expenses, and there are definitely not many good things on him. Okay, then it's a deal. Well, our hunter group is kind-hearted, and we will take you to the place if we lose money. Sheng Xinyu talked to himself, and when he sat next to Buzzhang, he was very excited. "Boss, you got rich." Hearing what he said, Buzzhang was startled. "Epic potion. Is it level 200? Sheng Xinyu said, "It's okay to sell this thing for 30 or 40 million yuan, right?" Buzzhang glared at him. "Fart, I'll say a number, 100 million. 1 billion. Sheng Xinyu was about to shout excitedly, and quickly covered his mouth. "Is this worth so much? This kid is really a big fat sheep." The murderous intent in Buzhang's eyes became stronger and stronger. "Don't worry, take your time." Hey. Sheng Xinyu smiled happily. After half a day, 10 people arrived in a barren field. "There is a gate to the secret realm here, you can go to the secret realm at Yuyang number 80. Buzzhang led the way. Each secret realm is a world, and some worlds are very large, such as the Blue Star world, which has vast land and population. Some worlds are very small, like the Trial continent, which is only 50,000 square kilometers, a piece of land suspended in the void. Every world is separated by a void. Void does not obey the ordinary rules, time and space are extremely chaotic. Entering it, it is possible to enter slow flow on the neck and 100 times the body. Then just watch helplessly as your body ages and decays in an instant. Obviously the body has turned into bones and flying ashes, but the brain is still in a slow time, and it takes a long time of despair before it dies. The gate of the secret realm in the two worlds is a safe way to pass. Every world may be connected to several worlds. In different regions, where the spatial connection points are weak, the door to the secret realm can be opened and lead to other worlds. Shenong number 54 is a small world, with only a dozen secret gates. In a big world like Blue Star, there are millions of secret realm gates. However, in order to ensure the safety of the main world of human beings, many doors were closed instead, and only controllable passages were reserved. There is another kind of world that is quite special. The water and wood secret realm owned by Su Mu does not follow the ordinary rules, and the secret realm door can be opened in any area in the connected world. It does not need to be opened like ordinary doors, it can only be opened in weak spaces. Therefore, the Shuimu secret realm has received great attention. This can be a door of prosperity for trade, or it can be a door of righteous killing for millions of professionals. The second world is very smooth, it is a marine fishery world, rich in all kinds of usable fish, or aquatic products. Buzzhang rented a boat and headed for the deep sea. The number of people from Blue Star to Shenong number 54 world has decreased a lot, and then to Yuyang number 80 world, only a few people can be seen occasionally after a long journey, even local life professionals. When the boat reaches the deep sea, take the elevator to reach the depth of 700 meters, pass through a secret door, and arrive at the secret realm of the Nest of Thousand Sands, only a few passers-by are left. Bang bang bang. As soon as he entered this piece of yellow sand land, he heard the sound of fierce fighting. In the blink of an eye, there were two teams fighting fiercely with the spine-broken scorpion emerging from the yellow sand. Spells and bullets fly, and melee professions are constantly looking for gaps to attack the weak point of the scorpion monster. These people and monsters are all around level 150. Humans have an advantage, but there are too many scorpions, and they keep jumping out of the sand. They didn't find us, let's go. Buzzhang winked, and a group of people immediately took Su Mu away. Seeing Su Mu following obediently, the rest of the team couldn't help showing smirks. Where did they want to avoid the spine-broken scorpion? What they wanted to avoid was the eyes of those teams. After all, if you want to kill people and sell goods, it's not good to be found out. A group of people walked through the endless yellow sand, and soon, they paused. Not good. The dunes trembled for a while, and dozens of spine-broken scorpions and fire-jaw ants jumped out. Buzzhang looked dignified on the surface, but there was excitement in the depths of his eyes. Here comes the monster. He rushed to Su Mu. Brother Su, there are so many monsters, we may not be able to protect them. What is your profession? Let's arrange tactics. Su Mu smiled slightly, revealing the career panel. What? A botanist? Buzzhang was stunned for a while, but soon his jaw trembled. He tried his best to suppress his smile, and said, "That's okay, you just hide behind, let's stop the monster." After finishing speaking, chilling hunters rushed towards the monster. These monsters stared at them, and it was difficult to move in the desert area, and it was difficult to escape. The monsters must be killed, but some of them can be left in the end. Not good. Sheng Xinyu, a 190-level gorilla, screamed, but let go of the two broken spine scorpions with joy on his face, and rushed towards Su Mu. A group of bounty hunters didn't care anymore and started hunting monsters. 20 minutes later, all the monsters were wiped out. Sigh, I'm really sorry for my employer, who didn't stop the monster and made Brother Su sacrifice. A group of people walked back happily, preparing to collect Su Mu's body. It is not a matter of minutes to get two 150-level monsters and get a 120-level life occupation, botanist. And when they turned over the sand dunes and returned to the initial position, they were suddenly taken aback. Su Mu just sat there, waiting for nothing. You're not dead. Sheng Xinyu was surprised. Two spine-broken scorpions were lying on the ground, with a small hole in their skulls, and they couldn't die anymore. Could it be that this level 120 botanist killed monsters over level 30? Shang Xinyu turned his head and cast a questioning look at Qiao Buzhang. There was a fierce look in Buzhang's eyes. Since this kid is destined to die, they will help him. He was about to order a few people to kill Su Mu on the spot. Sand, sand, sand. At this time, 3 people walked over from the side. Seeing the members of the Chilling Hunters, he was slightly taken aback, but quickly greeted, "Hello, it's dangerous here, be careful. I'm Gao Jinggan, and this is my teammate. We're here to collect group responses." Everyone in the Chilling Hunters immediately knew that this group of people must have helped Su Mu. Shang Xinyu pointed to the broken spine scorpion on the ground, and asked tentatively, "Did you kill it?" Gao Jinggan was taken aback for a moment, thinking he was asking if he had encountered such a monster before. He nodded immediately, "Yes." The members of the Chilling Hunters were speechless. Delay. Gao Jinggan didn't know why, so he pointed at the broken spine scorpion on the ground. "Do you want more poisonous scorpions? We'll take 700 ones." Shang Xinyu didn't want to procrastinate on this kind of matter, so he waved his hand, "Come on." Gao Jinggan and the others immediately beamed with joy and began to disassemble the monster. Shang Xinyu cast his gaze towards Buzhang. "Do you want to kill this Su?" Buzhang looked at the 3 people next to him, and it was difficult to do anything now. Human beings can kill each other and violate the Yanmeng Treaty, and they will be severely punished. Moreover, these people are still decomposing the poison sac, and they will definitely not leave if they need some time. He thought for a while. "Shang Xinyu, isn't the nest of thousands of sands rich in spiritual thatch? You can ask Brother Su if you need it." Shang Xinyu's eyes suddenly brightened. 347 inches, yes. "Brother Su, aren't you a botanist? Ling Sao, are you interested? Su Mu's botanist is just too lazy to eliminate it. After all, there are still several passives, such as natural resistance and natural affinity, which are very good and can be kept." But relying on his passive knowledge of the jungle, he naturally knew what Lingmao grass was. It is a high-grade medicinal material that can strengthen the soul for a short time. After being mixed into medicine, the effect is stronger, and at the same time, it can enter a state of tranquility and obtain better experience bonus. Su Mu thought for a while. Since there is one nearby, she can take a look. He nodded and said, "Okay." Shang Xinyu immediately beamed with joy. "Quick, Su Mu, this way." He quickly left the main force with Su Mu and marched several kilometers. People with more than 100 levels, even if they are life professions, have high attributes and fast movement speed. Within a few minutes, Shang Xinyu found what he wanted. There was a sea of sand in front of him, and it looked like there was nothing, but there was a huge murderous intent hidden. Shang Xinyu has traveled to the secret realm of the nest of dry sand many times, knowing that under this shallow layer of sand, there is a most terrifying giant beast hidden. Titan worm, a supergiant monster with a length of more than 500 meters, a mouth of 50 meters, and a weight of hundreds of tons, which is good at hiding and devouring. Although the level is not high, it is locked below level 200 by the nest of thousands of sands. But its blood volume, strength, and resistance are all increased by a super huge body shape, which is hundreds of times and thousands of times more than monsters of the same level. Any team can only wait for death in front of this shocking monster. Bei, Shang Xinyu took a small bottle of medicine and threw it towards the sand in the distance. Sha, Kek, Shua. Suddenly, a huge area of hundreds of square meters sank, revealing a deep and dark crypt. The earth trembled, but within a few seconds, it fell silent, leaving only flying dust. Shang Xinyu had a smile in his eyes. The Lingmao grass is right below. Su Mu glanced down and nodded slightly. Well, indeed. Shang Xinyu was afraid that he would be afraid, so he instigated him. It's okay, there are monsters below, but just now I threw a bottle of special sleeping potion, just enough to make it sleep peacefully. Don't worry, come up after picking the herbs, we won't give up on you. As he said that, he also took a look at the place where Su Mu might be hiding something. His eyes were full of greed. Su Mu waited for a few seconds. Antoine said, "Okay." He didn't seem to notice it at all, and he had already stepped forward and jumped into the crypt. Shang Xinyu's eyes were full of excitement. This kid is so good. The sleeping potion thrown just now is a diluted version, which can only make the Titan worm sleep for a while. When Su Mu goes down, he will be eaten by Titan worms. Because the potion has diminishing effects, the worm won't be put into a deep sleep for a short time, and today he won't be able to get his treasure. Waiting until tomorrow, you can use a high concentration medicine at one time, let it fall asleep, and then put the things away. This kind of thing has been tried and tested repeatedly, and you don't need to do it yourself, which is too convenient. But Shang Xinyu waited for a long time, but he didn't hear the sound of underground worms moving, or the scream of Su Mu being swallowed. Strange, why is there no movement? He was a little puzzled. Waited for a while, still no sound. Shang Xinyu couldn't sit still anymore and shouted, "Are you still there?" "Still," Su Mu replied almost immediately. Shang Xinyu was startled. "Is this cave empty?" He hurriedly asked, "Is there something down here?" "You're right, there are a lot of high-quality spirit thatch." Su Mu replied, "There is also a monster named Titan Worm, who is asleep and fine." Shang Xinyu was full of doubts. He voted a diluted sleeping potion. Why didn't the Titan Worm wake up? After waiting for a long time, he called out, "Is the Titan Worm still there?" Su Mu replied, "It's still there. I've almost finished picking the cockle grass and I'm going to go up." Shang Xinyu was startled immediately. Could it be that today's Titan Worm was seriously injured, so he didn't move? If so, there was a burst of greed in his heart, and he shouted, "Don't worry, I'm coming down too." Shang Xinyu jumped into the crypt. As soon as he landed, he saw a huge worm occupying the entire cave space, with a width of tens of meters, lying on the ground. It was still alive, but motionless, apparently in a deep sleep. Shang Xinyu felt greedy. Since the thing fell asleep, that's a good opportunity. There is a worm nucleus in the spinal cord of the Titan worm, which can be sold for a high price, and it will be looted as soon as it appears. The monster was so abnormal that it didn't want to move at all, so it must have been seriously injured. This worm nucleus, I can swallow it myself. On the side, Su Mu has already pocketed the last few Lingsao. I'll go up first. Shang Xinyu can't care about killing Su Mu anymore. Taking advantage of the weakness of the Titan worm, it is the right way to get out the worm core quickly. Go, tell them, I will go back in 10 or so. Su Mu turned to leave, but still reminded, this monster has high resistance, so be careful when you wake up. Shang Xinyu sneered, wake up. The Titan worm has very keen senses. Even if it is stunned by medicine, it will wake up quickly after being attacked and launch a counterattack that will shatter the world. But now, even though there are two people next to it, it is sleeping soundly. This is clearly about to die, extremely weak. After Su Mu left, Shang Xinyu quickly took out his knife and plunged into the Titan worm's mouth. He pierced the upper jaw of Yuanpan's huge mouth with one knife, activated the skill of light cutting, and quickly opened a big hole. Shang Xinyu was overjoyed. Sure enough, he's about to die. It's a good day today. A huge worm with a width of 50 meters, even if it uses skills continuously, it will take a while to cut through the spinal cord. Just when Shang Xinyu launched the 10th cut and finally opened a 5-meter deep wound. He felt a light blue light flow in front of his eyes, appearing on the entire body surface of the Titan worm, and then quickly disappeared. What? Shang Xinyu was taken aback. Why does this light look so familiar? Bang! Shang Xinyu felt his feet tremble, as if the whole earth was shaking. Why is that light so like the effect of paralysis? A thought suddenly flashed in his mind. Boom! The feet trembled again, and there seemed to be a sound of wind coming from the giant mouth of the Titan worm. How is it possible? Shang Xinyu shook his head. What kind of paralysis can take effect on a world-class monster with a width of 50 meters and a length of 500 meters? The resistance of this monster is ridiculously high, and the specific sleeping potion is specially aimed at the Titan worm, but it can only make it sleep peacefully and cannot be touched. Once injured, it will wake up instantly. But he has used the cutting skill 10 times, and the Titan worm remains motionless, as if dead. And many more. A word suddenly flashed in Shang Xinyu's mind. When Su Mu left, he reminded him, this monster has high resistance, so wake up carefully. Could it be that this giant monster was really paralyzed by him? Shang Xinyu felt cold sweat dripping down his back, but he forced a smile and said, how can? Boom! He just felt that the sky was spinning, and the earth under his feet had completely stood up. The last bit of light blue light disappears, which means that the effect of paralysis is completely cleared. Titan worm, wake up. Shang Xinyu's face was terrified, and he shouted, "How is it possible? How is it possible that someone can paralyze the Titan worm?" He threw all the specific sleeping potions into the giant's belly, but the monster resisted for a short time and would not sleep at all. Shang Xinyu was desperate and wanted to escape, but he was in the mouth of the Titan worm. Catchy. A tiny gob of blood spurted out, and the Titan worm angrily gnawed away at the ultimate snack. The taste is okay, but the palate is a little sore. While walking back, Su Mu was playing with the ling thatch in her hand. Ling thatch, silver, slowly nourishing the soul. He has never practiced botanist skills, so he doesn't see much effect. But Su Mu didn't plan to spend too much time on life and occupation. He took out the 10,000 bone cave and threw hundreds of caddies of ling thatch into it. The 10,000 bone cave is a prop given by Fang Jiang of the Academy of Adventism, which can decompose medicinal materials and store them as medicinal properties, and can produce medicinals according to prescriptions according to needs. Decomposed. Ling thatch, silver, x 731. Acquire medicinal properties. Soul effect, 364. Acquired medicinal properties. Jing, spiritual effect, 571. Acquired medicinal properties. Toxicity decline reduction, 112. Su Mu looked at the 10,000 bone cave, which has stored a corresponding amount of medicinal properties, which can be used alone or in combination. He looked at the effect again. The soul effect can strengthen the effect of the medicine on the soul. If you add soothing and healing drug-like properties, the healing effect on the soul will be enhanced. If poisoning and fainting properties are added, the effect of poisoning the soul will be enhanced. The same is true for the mental effect. Adding other medicines with different properties can obtain buff medicines or poisons. There is no need to explain the decline of toxicity. Ling Mao has a weak detoxification. If it is necessary to use certain poisonous medicinal materials, medicinal properties can also be added to reduce the toxicity and enhance other effects. Satisfied, Su Mu took out several bottles of medicine from her bosom. These are all consumables bought through regular channels, but they are relatively expensive. A bottle of medicine that adds 10 points of strength in 30 seconds can be sold for tens of thousands of pieces. Therefore, if a large amount of money is invested, it will be devoured after purchase, and too much money will be consumed, and it is easy to make ends meet. Su Mu bought enough consumables, mainly for emergencies. He poured a bottle of energy recovery potion and a bottle of excitement potion into the cave of bones. Ding! Discovered. Energy recovery potion, excitement potion, whether it is decomposed. Su Mu. Yes. Acquired prescriptions. Vitality recovery potion, excitement potion. Acquisition of medicinal properties. Weak energy recovery x1, illusion resistance x1, weak health increase x1. This decomposed prescription is less effective than the original potion. But Su Mu does not want to be a copycat, but the medicinal properties of the medicine. He took out the medicinal properties under control and mixed them. Soul effect x1, spirit effect x1, weak energy recovery x mixed. Su Mu throws in a crystal bottle, mix. Ding. With a flash of light, a bottle of potion appeared in Su Mu's hand. Obtain. Clear energy potion. After taking it, the maximum energy value will be increased by 500, and 50 points will be recovered every second for 30 seconds. During use, the mental strength is slightly improved, and it is not easy to be troubled by illusions. Soul power slightly increased. Su Mu Yishi. Successful. This bottle of potion is 5 times more effective than ordinary energy recovery potions. Although it seems like a lot, because Su Mu only invested 1 soul effect and 1 spiritual effect. If you increase the amount, the effect of the medicine can reach 100 times or 1,000 times. It's an artifact. Su Mu was pleasantly surprised. For those who don't understand, 10,000 Bone Cave is nothing more than a portable alchemy platform. But in the eyes of life professionals who manufacture pharmacy, this is simply a magic weapon. You must know that each medicinal material has multiple medicinal properties, and each medicinal property will be strengthened or counteracted. A medicine has multiple effects, and it is possible to increase the magic power, but it will increase the fire damage received. In order to reconcile the effects of medicinal materials, each pharmacist has devoted a lot of energy to try to solve the problem. But in the end, either honestly follow the existing prescriptions and be a medicinal porter. Either research out a new prescription, and if it is good, it will soar into the sky and make huge profits. If it is bad, everyone will be wiped out, and it will be considered an incompetent pharmacist. But Wengu Grotto can decompose medicinal materials, classify and store 100% medicinal properties, which makes dispensing medicine a convenient selection process. With the 10,000 bone cave, the problem of conflicting medicinal properties can be easily solved. You can even choose the buff effect to create a unique prescription. Ding! A new prescription has been discovered, whether to add the bright energy potion to the prescription pool. No need. Su Mu smiled without confirming. Just mix the two medicinal properties at will, and you can easily make a new medicine. This is a good thing that many pharmacists dream of. It can be seen that Fang Jiang really took his heart and soul, and combined one piece with Su Mu. Su Mu made up her mind, and then took out a bottle of life restoration potion, and put it into it to decompose. He now only needs a positive buff to make the effect of soul effect and spirit effect positive. Immediately afterwards, Su Mu put 363 parts of soul effect medicinal properties, 570 parts of spiritual effect, and 112 parts of toxic decay into the cave of bones. Make. Ding. A bottle of new potion appeared in his hand. Without hesitation, Su Mu used crazy god gluttony to devour it. Ding. Swallowed the strongest refreshing mixture. The power of the soul is increased by 52%. The maximum energy is increased by 200,000, the energy is restored by 10,000 points per second, the resistance to soul attacks is greatly improved, and the efficiency of decomposing toxins is slightly increased. Su Mu felt a burst of clarity in his mind, and he clicked on the panel to see that the value had been enhanced again. This time, the most increased is resistance, and it made up for Su Mu's weakness in soul resistance. The secret realm is really a treasure, thanks to the help of this hunter group, otherwise I wouldn't know that Lingmao is here. However, with the Titan worm guarding it, it's not very easy to attack. The resistance of that thing is too high, and the paralysis can't be controlled for a long time. When Su Mu went down to the crypt, there were signs of the Titan worm waking up. But after he paralyzed with a prolonged chant, he fell into a deep sleep again. Even now Su Mu is not willing to confront the Titan worm. That thing has rough skin and thick flesh, and the blood volume unit is even more than 100 million. Although the level is only 200, it is more difficult to kill. Su Mu needs to arrive at the top furnace secret realm within half a month, and there are still 6 days left, so there is no need to waste time with this world-class boss. Back in the big team of the Chilling Hunters, the three of them had already collected the poison bags and were paying Buzzhang. They do not use Yanmeng coins, but more valuable Myriad Realms gold coins, which are convenient to use in a world without technology. Seeing Su Mu coming back, several people were obviously taken aback. You, why are you still alive? Ah, why are you back, where is Shang Xinfang? Su Mu pointed behind him. He went to find Worm Titan and said he would come back later. The expression of the people who eat forest hunters suddenly changed. What? Shang Xinyu is doing well. What are you going to do with Titan worms? Did he go to the crypt? Necromancer Duan Hongli hurriedly asked. Su Mu nodded. Yeah. What's crazy? Go find him. Duan Hongli hurriedly returned to the cave entrance according to what Su Mu said. 0. The huge hole with a diameter of hundreds of meters was empty and silent. Shang Xinyu. Duan Hongli shouted. Boom. The earth trembled, and she was so frightened that she quickly fell silent. But Shang Xinyu didn't echo at all, and the cave was very quiet. Duan Hongli had no choice but to turn back, her face pale. There is no sign of him. Could it be that he was really eaten by the Titan worm? Buzzhang gritted his teeth. Set up a temporary camp here and wait for him to come back. Su Mu folded her hands. No, I'm going to the top furnace secret realm. According to the information obtained, the door of the Forge Rift will be affected by the Netherstorm. If you don't enter within 7 days, you will fall into a period of disconnection, which will delay your time. If you guys want to wait here, I can only stop the cooperation and find someone else. Su Mu said while looking at Gao Jinggan and the others who were about to leave. Bujung's face was cloudy and uncertain. He didn't know why Shang Xinyu went crazy and jumped off the Titan worm's lair. If you want to go down, you have to go down tomorrow to get the loot after the antagonism of the sleeping potion disappears. Could it be that he found some treasures and would rather take risks than try them? But Buzzhang couldn't bear the treasure on Su Emu's body. If he followed these bounty hunters, the ducks would fly away. Haha, how could it be? Shang Xinyu will follow, let's go. Without any explanation, he pulled his team members towards the next gate of the secret realm. Su Mu folded her arms, with a vague smile on her lips, and followed behind. Half a day after they left, a female professional wrapped in a cloak came here. She touched the blood on the ground, and glanced at the monster's carapace that hadn't been dragged away. They are indeed going this way, and they don't smell human blood. That Mr. Su is not dead yet. What is the identity of the person who pays so much attention to the Bounty Guild? It's a pity that I just returned to Blue Star from another secret realm, so I was too hasty to check. I have to hurry up and find Guang before this Mr. Su is killed. Perhaps because there was one gorilla missing to share the combat pressure, Buzzhang did not attack Su Mu again. Instead, let him help cast some simple attack spells, and be responsible for killing monsters such as spine-broken scorpion and firejaw ant that slipped through the net. Su Mu is also very happy to do some easy work, throwing a few fireballs to make up for the bloody monsters, and even raised a level, reaching level 121. After crossing thousands of miles of yellow sand, they arrived at a ruined temple. Because it was already dark, a group of people rested overnight outside the temple. The next day, after avoiding a group of scarabs, he passed through the gate of the secret realm and went to the secret realm of the Sea of the Abyss. After entering this Wangyang Sea, a group of people were obviously relieved. Duan Hongli opened a piece of film, and when it hit the water, it immediately turned into a transparent boat. Several people sat on the boat, controlled the magic paddle, and headed in one direction. There are no monsters here, Buzzhang said. Oh. Su Mu responded briefly and began to look around. What's wrong? Buzzhang asked. Su Mu thought for a moment. Something is watching us. Ha ha ha, how is it possible? Buzzhang laughed. There are no monsters in the secret realm of the Sea of Abyss, and it is absolutely safe if you don't encounter humans. I don't know why it's not developed here, it's far away from foreigners. Do you know that the top furnace secret realm you are going to belongs to the border of Yanmeng's sphere of influence? Generally speaking, Yanmeng needs to control the 10 secret realms outside Blue Star, all of which are safe areas, and foreign flags are never allowed to exist. To go to the top furnace secret realm, you only need to travel through 7 worlds. Compared with other secret realms, it is already very close to the rear of Blue Star. That's why the battle in the top furnace secret realm is very intense. Both the Yan League and the foreign races have dispatched powerful troops to try to take down the entire world. Su Mu nodded and didn't speak any more. He felt that this secret realm was a little weird, and he felt that someone was looking at him when he first entered. The sense of the eyes of nothingness is stronger, and there is indeed something watching. But Su Mu looked left and right, but couldn't find the target. Buzzhang said, "This is a Wangyang world, only water, nothing else. Let's rest for a while, there is no danger here, save some energy for the next world." Su Mu nodded, and stopped paying attention to that line of sight, closing her eyes to rest. The necromancer Duan Hongli quietly walked to Bujung's side. No one will come here, do you want to kill him? Buzzhang hesitated a bit. If you want to kill him in the Thousand Sands lair, then he will kill him. That kid Shang Xinyu must have found the treasure and defected, right now. It's dangerous to cross the confused swamp without a person, why not let this kid be cannon fodder, what do you think? Duan Hongli thought for a while, then nodded. That's right, that Banshee is indeed strong. If there are not enough people, it will be difficult to share souls, so let him live another day. Buzzhang said. Well, let him jump 2 more times. The boat walked on the Sea of the Abyss for nearly a day before seeing a vortex. Duan Hongli didn't slow down, and let the boat crash into it directly. When a group of people passed through the center of the vortex emitting light, they arrived at a new place. There are thick and oppressive black clouds here, and it is impossible to distinguish between day and night, and it is as dark as ever. The secret land of the confused swamp has arrived. Several people lit torches, took anti-poison potions, and the group continued to move forward. Su Mu's eyesight was also affected, so he took out a bottle of cat's eye potion and swallowed it. Ding! Swallow the cat's eye potion to obtain low light vision, switchable. When low light vision is turned on, everything becomes as bright as day. It can be seen that this is a wide swamp, with only a few hard lands, and the rest are bubbling ginger mud. Su Mu glanced at the panel, and a reminder kept popping up. Slight poisoning. The toxin has been removed. Slight poisoning. The toxin has been removed. The potion made by Lingmao has the effect of removing toxins, and the effect is fixed after being swallowed. Su Mu's poison resistance has not improved, but the effect of dissolving has improved. So it will continue to jump out of poisoning, but it will be eliminated in an instant. That's good, you can see the real-time effect. Su Mu didn't get too entangled, and followed the people forward. Along the way, he also discovered many herbs. Relying on the passivity of botanists, even if they don't know each other, they can make a rough judgment. Su Mu picked them casually and threw them into the 10,000 bone cave. Because of the title of senior collector, sometimes collecting a herb can produce more quantity or higher quality in a critical strike. Ding! Collection has been critically hit. The number of bipolar scale grass has doubled. Ding! Collection has been critically hit. The quality of the taproot flower has been raised to the gold level. Su Mu threw things into the cave of 10,000 bones, and they continued to dissolve into medicinal properties. Acquired medicinal properties. Invisibility, 2. Acquired medicinal properties. Mana value increase, 1. Acquire medicinal properties. Exile, 3. Acquired medicinal properties. HP damage, 5. The confused swamp looks dark and dilapidated, but there are quite a lot of things. In particular, all kinds of poisonous properties are dazzling. Su Mu picked all the way, to fill the square bone cave to the brim. Duan Hongli walked in front, watched Su Mu collect herbs coldly, and said with a sneer, I don't know when I'm about to die, so I'm still collecting herbs here. Buzzhang also sneered. It's not very good, the medicine he picked is ours in the end. Let him do it, more income is a little bit. A botanist, apart from sending you to death, that's all there is to it. Duan Hongli nodded, feeling even happier when she thought that she could get an extra batch of herbs later. She summoned a team of elite bone guards to protect a group of people. Be careful, we are about to enter the Banshee territory. Buzzhang reminded. But as soon as he finished speaking, his expression suddenly changed. Everyone stopped in an instant, as if stiff, pale and unable to move. Su Mu felt a buzzing in his head, and was also stunned for a few seconds, then raised his head. What the hell? Something attacked his soul just now, and that invisible and mysterious attack also made him stiff for a while. But he had just swallowed a batch of spirit grass potion, his soul was greatly strengthened, his resistance was also strengthened, and he recovered quickly. At this time, the sound of gada gada came from around. Fang spiders, demon bats, naughty worms, swamp necromancers, bone dwarves. In the darkness, countless monsters appeared. Duan Hongli's bone guard was not affected, she was already swinging her sword and casting spells towards these monsters. Obviously, this team made preparations, knowing that they would be attacked by spirits, so they summoned the pets in advance. Su Mu scanned some monsters, but was not very interested. These are only to attract or control by means, and come to attack everyone. The enemy's body is not nearby. Rumble. The bone guard and the monster fought together and temporarily stopped the attack. At this time, Su Mu also saw a bone pendant hanging on a tree not far away. It exudes an evil aura, which is obviously the core prop of the soul attack. But not the body. Su Mu stared at the bone pendant, and suddenly a flash of inspiration came to his mind. The title of Crazy God, jealousy played a role. The longer you have the killing intent on a target, the more you can discover the opponent's weakness. Su Mu was so blessed that he saw who was manipulating the bone pendant from the spirit world. In a very distant cemetery, a rotten banshee dances in the gloom. She exudes the same evil aura. This is the culprit of the attack. 30 kilometers is really far enough. Su Mu shook her head and smiled, and took out her gun, Destiny Breaker. This weapon gifted by Shanha Camp has an epic attribute of level 150, but the equipment level has been reduced to level 120, obviously to suit him. The special effects of penetration, assistance, correction, and locking carried by firearms are also very powerful, which can be regarded as the best of this level. Su Mu set up the gun and used the magic storage skill on the first bullet. Destruction of the world and burning prison, 10, all filled. Then, he aimed in the direction of the Banshee and used the skill, deadly sniper. Su Mu's angle of view is getting farther and farther, and a gun is actually aimed at the monster 30 kilometers away. Fortunately, this is a swamp, and there are no tall rocks and trees blocking it. Goodbye. A 230 level gold level boss should drop good things. Boom. Su Mu fired a shot and stopped observing, then put away the weapon and threw it back into the space ring. Boom. A monstrous sea of flames was set off 30 kilometers away, and a huge cloud of flame mushrooms rose up, bringing some warmth to this dark and gloomy secret world. At that moment, the Banshee became an acquaintance. Buzzhang and others suddenly woke up. Defense, defend. Duan Hongli immediately summoned a new batch of skeleton soldiers. Fei Xin took out the shield and looked around nervously. They saw many monsters and corpses of skeleton soldiers on the ground, but there was no more fighting. Those dark creatures were confused for a while, then turned and left. Only a handful of bloodthirsty monsters continued to attack, and were quickly wiped out by the three-person team. Hey, what's going on? The Banshee didn't attack today. Duan Li was surprised. Usually after this period, the Banshee would go crazy and attack wildly. And she has the ability to paralyze the soul, which makes it very troublesome to fight. Only with a larger number of people can they share the soul attack, wake up as soon as possible, kill a bloody path among the dark creatures, and quickly leave the Banshee's territory. But today the Banshee attacked, but there was no movement, so it ended hastily, making several people a little confused. Duan Hongli noticed the sea of flames in the distance, pointed and said, "Look, what's going on over there? The sea of fire 30 kilometers away looks like the clouds are dyed red from here." Buzzhang frowned. "Don't worry, it might be a ground fire." He saw Su Mu again, who was already gathering herbs nearby. Buzzhang couldn't help sighing. This kid is so lucky that he was not killed by the dark monster. But the Banshee didn't attack today, so she simply started here, which would cause trouble later. Su Mu put the herbs in her bosom, then caught a swamp corpse, and started to tame it. He was too lazy to run 30 kilometers away to collect loot, so he simply got a pet nearby as a one-time errand. 20. It's just that the monsters here are oddly shaped, with full palms, and the swamped corpses that can be grasped have become a good choice. In addition, killing a 230 level gold boss directly raised Su Mu to 124 levels by 3 levels. Because of high quality experience, each level gets a lot of additional attribute points, and the bonus is equivalent to other people's upgrades. Bu Zheng wanted to be amazed. Can you still tame skills? Yeah, Su Mu responded briefly, just kidding around, it will dissipate after a while. He gave the swamp wicked an order to go to the Banshee's burial place. Buzzhang chuckled. What's the use of taming this kind of monster? The bottom of the world in the misty swamp, it can be swallowed by other monsters within 2 steps. He thought this kid was interesting, but he didn't know that disaster was imminent. I'm still trying to tame skills here, and I'm still controlling the weakest swamp zombie. Such a thing, he simply can't look at it. Bu Zheng slowly touched his lower back, ready to slaughter the fat sheep on the spot. But Su Mu heard his words and suddenly realized, it's really so. His personal attributes are too strong, and he rarely uses summoning skills, but he forgot that the swamp zombies are weak. According to the strength of this ordinary mob, he would definitely not be able to reach the Banshee. Su Mu flipped through the panel and activated the skill. Bloodline Outbreak, Bloody Call, Horde Rampage, Heart of Giants, Battle Flag Charge, Battle Array Cheer, Deep Forest Halo. The swamp corpse had left for a short distance, blocked by thorn bushes. Sudden, it erupted with a majestic force. Roar. The swamp corpse roared up to the sky, and its figure suddenly swelled, from a short and shriveled corpse to a 4-meter-high monster. Its whole body is full of muscles, full of majestic power, and has a terrifying aura. Green, red, and golden halos wrapped around the surface of the skin, endowing it with a powerful and terrifying power zone. The surrounding dark creatures are eyeing, ready to attack this fragile zombie. Seeing that the swamp corpse suddenly became a super strong person, the aura on their body made them shudder, and they immediately ran for their lives without daring to turn their heads. Su Mu activated the burst skills of all summoning professions, each with a 20% and 30% bonus, and when superimposed, the effect becomes extremely powerful. These skills lasted for a short time, but Su Mu simply activated the passive of Dragon Master, which forced the consumption of the swamp zombie's health and extended the duration of the buff. Anyway, this product is just a one-time errand, don't feel bad. Su Mu thought for a while, and then used the warlord's skill of uniting enemies. This skill can transfer part of his power to followers, pets, and followers. He gave his warrior class and 280,000 points of strength to the swamp corpse. Anyway, there is no battle for the time being, just cancel the skill when needed. With the attributes of legal professions and agile professions, there is no need to worry. Immediately, the power of the swamp corpses skyrocketed again. A huge amount of power surged in its body, and even created an energy vortex around its body, and the terrifying power seemed to be released through its body at any time. The ground trembled slightly, and even the air became thicker. The dark creatures within a kilometer around were trembling. They instinctively discovered the birth of a dark monarch. They couldn't help being terrified, but they wanted to worship. The swamp corpse is like a human-shaped beast, with a surging momentum, moving towards the place where the flames are burning in the distance. In the crowd, Duan Hongli suddenly turned pale, and said in a low voice, "I sense a terrifying aura, it's nearby." Buzzhang was taken aback, and also felt a terrifyingly powerful force not far away, so he couldn't help swallowing. "How strong is it?" Duan Hongli shivered and shook her head. "I don't know. I only know that it is stronger than the Banshee. It is definitely a high-grade boss. We have met, we must die." Bujung's face suddenly changed. He glanced at Su Mu, and put the weapon back into the scabbard unwillingly. "This kid is so lucky. Go." Buzzhang was afraid of the attack of the nearby boss, so he had to order, "Hurry up and rest in the dark camp." A group of people left as if fleeing, and ran for several kilometers in a row. They felt relieved that the boss did not catch up. Along the way, they encountered various dark creature attacks, which made them miserable. Poof! Buzzhang killed a spiritualist, and his physical strength was a little empty. He glanced at Su Mu, who was at leisure, hesitated for a moment, but still didn't make a move. There are too many monsters, and that kid maintains his physical strength very well. If he escapes, it's so dark that it's really hard to chase. Forget it, he doesn't know how to avoid poison at all, he must have accumulated a lot of poison. Go to the dark camp, let the poison break out before doing it, so he won't run away. Buzzhang thought for a while, continued to kill monsters, and led the team forward. On the other side, the swamp ghoul arrived at the Banshee's burial place. There is still a raging fire burning here, but it is not afraid at all, directly stepping into the magma ground, looking for the boss to drop. Fortunately, the advanced props remained, and a piece of worn parchment floating on the upper layer of magma was not burned. The swamp ghoul picked up the parchment. Wrapped parchment of doom, master. Write your name on it, and you will be cursed endlessly. Erase the name to remove it. You need to see the target with your own eyes and know the real appearance of the other party. This effect is difficult to dispel. As long as the name exists, it will continue to be cursed. If Su Mu is here, I will be pleasantly surprised. This is a good thing. Although there is no direct high damage, it can constantly curse and corrode the target. For some too powerful enemies, you can use this parchment to weaken them in advance. Swish! The swamp corpse heard a voice behind it, and turned around involuntarily. Qinghe was shocked, and her face turned pale. She followed the trail of the blazing feather hunters and kept tracking. Seeing that he was about to catch up with the target, he saw an explosion sound from a distance, and the monstrous fire rose from the ground. The appalling sound and momentum made the entire misty swamp tremble. What is that? Qinghe followed the thick smoke to the center of the explosion. Upon arrival, she was shocked. A sea of flames, even the earth was melted, emitting a dazzling red light. What kind of attack could melt the entire land? Qinghe was shocked. This power made her unable to imagine how it could be done. And soon, she became terrified. A huge ghoul appeared in the sea of flames 250. It doesn't have magma at all, just step into it directly. The terrifying heat that made Qinghe die at the touch of it could not cause the slightest damage to the ghoul, and was pushed away like a stream of water. It picked up something, and Qinghe subconsciously wanted to check it out, but accidentally made a noise and was noticed. When the ghoul turned around, Qinghe saw the horrifying dark behemoth head-on. It is fully 4 meters high, with thick muscles, and several layers of halos around its body, exuding a terrifying and astonishing aura. This is not a ghoul, it is simply the Dark King of the Misty Swamp. The majestic power on his body made Qinghe's heart stagnate, and fear and despair spread. She has no desire to fight against it at all. This monster completely crushes her no matter in terms of momentum or attributes. If you fight, she will die. Fortunately, the Ghoul King didn't care about her at all. Instead, he turned around and left in one direction. After the ghoul left, Qinghe knelt down on the ground, covered in cold sweat, panting continuously. The oppressive momentum just now was too terrifying. She released several calming spells in a row before finally regaining her senses. This is a civil war between two bosses, and then the Ghoul King wiped out the other boss. Qinghe guessed, his face suddenly changed. Not good, the direction it is going in is not the gate of the secret place of the quiet city. Mr. Su seems to be going in that direction too, in case he gets caught. Qinghe was tangled in her heart. If she also went to the gate of the secret realm, she might meet the Ghoul King again. But if you don't go, Mr. Su will definitely die if you meet him. Qinghe gritted her teeth. After receiving the money, I have to do things. I sneaked over there, maybe I can avoid the Ghoul King. Mr. Su must be rescued. She was extremely worried, this journey was more difficult than imagined. Mr. Su fell into the hands of chilling hunters again, and he was about to meet the Ghoul King soon. It can be said that there are 10 dead and no life. A group of people hurried, and finally reached the gate of the secret realm. This is the dark camp, there will be fewer monsters, everyone rest. Buzzhang gave the order, sat down on the ground, panting continuously. Passing through the misty swamp consumed a lot of physical strength and made several people exhausted. This is a very simple camp, without a single person, next to the gate of the secret realm. Through the last world, you will be able to reach the top furnace secret realm. Buzzhang said to Su Mu, take a rest first, and then go there after you recover your strength. There are few monsters in the dark camp, but it's not that there are no monsters, so we still have to be careful. Su Mu let out an "oh," and found a remote and quiet place to rest cross-legged. He has nothing to rest. If he breaks through with his own strength, his efficiency will be much faster than this group of people. But after all, if you don't know the way, you will be trapped in this world in the end. There are still 4 full days, and there is still the last secret realm left, so there is no rush. He felt that the swamp zombie was walking in this direction, and there was a telepathy between the pet and its owner, no matter how far away it was. It's just that if the distance is too far, the efficiency of direct control will be greatly reduced, and the field of view cannot even be shared. We have to wait for the swamp zombie to get back the loot, so we might as well study Sword Shadow. Su Mu took out the folded painting from the space ring and unfolded it. During the few days he was at home, he had to read it every day, immersed in the vast sword shadow that cut down the galaxy. Every time he observes, it will make Su experience a higher level in the use of swords. I've been on my way for the past 2 days, and I don't have time to study. Rest now, just in time to make up. As soon as the painting unfolded, Su Mu froze. His consciousness entered the painting again, and he saw that majestic sword intent. But what Su Mu didn't know was that the 3 members of Chilling Hunters had gathered together. That kid didn't realize it, so it's a good opportunity. Buzzhang said, entering Quiet City to kill troubles, and becoming a ghost will attract strange things. Duan Hongli, go, be quick and kill that kid. Duan Hongli is a necromancer, because she doesn't need to fight in person, so she loses a lot of mana, and her energy is not bad. She poured 2 bottles of mana potion and nodded, okay, I'll do it. Stay by the door, block the road, and prevent jumping. The 2 nodded. Duan Hongli held her staff and tiptoed towards the area where Su Mu was. She is a level 176 necromancer plus guard, and she can deal with a level 120 rookie with ease. If Su Mu hadn't been left to carry the Banshee's soul shock, Duan Hongli would have wanted to do it a long time ago. She arrived at an abandoned tent, and by the light of the fire, she vaguely saw someone inside. HMPH, wait to die. Duan Hongli went around to the back and looked around. The kid seemed to be holding a piece of paper and seemed to be thinking about something, even she couldn't detect it from behind. As expected of a botanist, with a garbage life profession, I have no vigilance at all. Duan Hongli suddenly became curious and looked up. She also wanted to see what this kid was looking at. Duan Hongli walked behind Su Mu and stuck out her head. Boom! She just felt her mind explode like a thunderbolt. A shocking sword light swept across the heavens and the world. The suffocatingly bright sword shadow directly divided the star sea, leaving an indelible scar on an endlessly vast scale. Duan Hongli couldn't even understand this sword shadow, but she was deeply shocked and fell into it. Her whole body was stiff, her eyes were full of horror, her mind went blank, and she completely lost the ability to think. Call. After 5 minutes, Su Mu let out a long sigh of relief and woke up. He took out the mechanical travel time device and glanced at it. 6 minutes have passed. Well, it is much shorter than the previous 10 minutes of absence. Spirit thatch is a good thing. It increases the strength of the soul, improves the efficiency of perception. The time is short, but the effect is better. Su Mu was still immersed in the aftertaste of feeling, and didn't know if those people were going to leave, so she moved towards the door of the secret realm. He didn't even notice that there was a person standing behind him, holding a magic staff, keeping it at the moment of launching the attack. But it doesn't matter even if it is attacked. Su Mu has millions of health points, and devoured a lot of equipment, and gained nearly 100,000 armor and magic resistance. Lying down and letting Duan Hongli hit him, he didn't recover as quickly. That sword shadow has strengthened the skills of the elemental swordsman. Let me see. The elemental blade can not only enchant weapons with water, fire and wind, but also imprint spells directly on them. Isn't this the same as the magic storage? Su Mu found that his profession as an elemental swordsman had also been greatly strengthened by that sword shadow. One of the elemental blade skills is more than twice as powerful. This skill could have enchanted the weapon with water, fire and wind, so as to obtain a magic bonus, which has both physical and legal damage. And now, he can even enchant weapons with spells. No, not right. The magic grant of the magic storage is to let the weapon store a spell, which is equivalent to casting any item as a staff. And the elemental blade can imprint the attribute of the spell on it, so that the attack will carry the effect of the skill. Su Mu's eyes brightened. This is much more flexible. Some spells are powerful, but with AoE effects such as explosions and splashes, they are not suitable for use in narrow terrain. But using the elemental blade brand, you can directly intercept the power and choose the effect you need from it. He was quite satisfied. After this skill was strengthened, its power didn't increase much, but its scope of application was several times wider. For example, in the friendly array, an assassin appears. At this time, if you use AoE skills such as destroying the world and burning prison, you may be accidentally injured. But only imprinting the power and passive effect of this skill on the weapon can make every / destroy the world and burn the prison, but there is no need to worry about the huge explosion effect. On the contrary, if you are in the hostile camp, you can use the magic gift of the magic storage to store up the explosive AoE. Every knife is a huge range attack, no one can stop it. These two skills just complement each other and can be applied to almost any range. Thinking with satisfaction, Su Shu also arrived at the gate of the secret realm. Buzheng and Fei Xin were wary when they saw the person coming. But seeing Su Mu walking over slowly and without panic, both of them were dumbfounded. How are you still alive? Fei Xin asked subconsciously. Where is Duan Hongli? What did you do to her? Su Mu really didn't know. I don't know, I didn't see it. Bu Zheng and Fei Xin looked at each other. There are fewer monsters in the dark camp, but not without them. Could it be that Duan Hongli is in danger? Avertisement. Don't worry about it, Fei Xin said viciously. Boss, kill this guy to save trouble. Just as Bu was about to speak, his face suddenly changed. He felt an extremely violent breath approaching, and when he raised his head, he saw 2 clusters of bloody flames floating in the air. No, where is the fire? It is clearly the eyes of the Ghoul King exuding a terrifying aura. Roar! The Ghoul King raised his head to the sky and roared angrily, rushing towards the 3 of them. Run, run. Fei Xin rushed towards the gate of the secret realm without caring about messing with Su Mu. The speed of stepping was not slow at all, and he fled into the gate of the secret realm without even saying hello. Like bereaved dogs, the two quickly slipped away with their tails between their legs, not intending to wait for their stiff teammates. Roar! The corpse ghost king rushed towards Su Mu, and then slid and knelt down. Boom! With unparalleled momentum, it prostrated itself in front of Su Mu, lowering its head humbly. Wow! The vitality of the ghoul king was exhausted, and his whole body turned into black sand, falling apart. Exactly. Su Mu had predicted a long time ago that this kind of one-time errand toolman just happened to bring things. He picked up the parchment entwined with bad luck, looked at the effect, and was really overjoyed. Good thing, the 230 level gold boss, if you lose this thing, it's considered a very good character. As long as you write your name, you can continue to curse, which can be used to deal with high-level enemies. Su Mu put away the good things, and no longer missed them, and walked into the gate of the secret realm. Duan Hongli, who was forgotten in the dark camp, was still immersed in the shadow of the sword, unable to think or move. The dark camp just has fewer monsters, not no. Finally, a dark maggot at the lowest level, around level 50, discovered this human being. It wriggled over a little bit, gnawing at her. More and more low-level monsters appeared, dividing and eating this motionless living person. When Duan Hongli was a little more awake, she found out in despair that she had been eaten and only her head remained. The professional characteristics of the necromancer allow her to survive in this state for a short period of time. No, Duan Hongli would rather die early than fall into such a desperate situation. Buzzhang and Fei Xin fled to the secret place of the quiet city, still having lingering fears. What was that thing just now? Fei Xin was shocked. He had never seen such a powerful boss, with a huge figure and astonishing momentum. Even if he doesn't lose the identification technique, he knows that once he touches it, he will definitely die. Buzzhang also held his chest, and said angrily, Duan Hongli must be dead. The fat sheep is dead too, let's go fast, the boss will definitely attack him. Thinking of this operation, not only did he not make any money, but two people were involved, Buzzhang felt upset and furious. But that boss was really shocking, and he had no intention of fighting against it at all. Must die, Fei Xin murmured. Then, where are we going? Of course it's going to the Dinglu secret realm. Bu Zheng said, if you don't send the things there, this song will be in vain. Hey, the bosses in the Misty Swamp all have fixed territories, how could there be such a strong running around? I see, it must be because of the two bosses fighting for territory, so they will move. It must have been the fire that broke out and blew up a boss territory, which caused the change. What bad luck. Buzzhang felt sorry for himself and felt aggrieved. Such a fat sheep has never been eaten. But let him take the risk to go back and pick up the leak again, and he dare not at all. If the boss is guarding the door, it will be a slap in the face of a child. Buzzhang decided to stay for a while after arriving at the top furnace secret realm, or change a route before returning to Blue Star. He doesn't want to meet this boss again. Oh, it's still bad luck, let the fat sheep run away. Huh, Buzzhang complained, and suddenly raised his head. The gate of the secret realm fluctuated, and Su Mu walked out from it. Buzzhang was slightly taken aback, but then he laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect it. Fei Xin was also stunned for a moment, then laughed loudly. I didn't expect you to survive, ha ha ha, this trip is not in vain, it is profitable. Su Mu looked at the two in surprise. Wait, you guys. Buzzhang said viciously. Okay, stop pretending, I'm going to have a showdown. Boy, hand over everything on your body, and I can spare your life. Fei Xin also beamed with joy, this is really another village. I thought this kid died outside, but I didn't expect that he was lucky enough to live in a secret place in the quiet city. This is here to give money. A bottle of epic potion on his body can sell for tens of millions or even hundreds of millions. This must be the second generation of a certain job who came out to practice, it is impossible to carry only a bottle of medicine with him. Search him again, this time he will make a fortune. Buzzhang stroked the imprints on the backs of his hands, and a crimson crescent moon rose. His body gradually became burly, and thick hair appeared on his body surface. Werewolf. This is the core skill of the Son of Beast profession, and all subsequent skills revolve around the bonus of beast transformation. Su Mu raised her hand. Wait a minute, you. Stop talking nonsense. Bu Jiang, who had turned into a werewolf, bared his fangs, and said ferociously, 2 options, 1, hand over all the finances by yourself, and I can spare your life. 2, I'll kill you, and then search. Buzzhang also said fiercely, yes, hand over the things, if you break them, you will die. Su Mu sighed, it's better to make the third choice. Buzzhang sneered, don't think about wasting time, there is no third choice. Su Mu pointed behind him, okay, what do you want to do about those things? Buzzhang turned his head, suddenly the wolf's face was shocked, oh. Fei Xin also turned his head subconsciously, and his face turned pale. In this unpopular night city, the streets behind him are full of dense figures. These figures stood in place, motionless. But these 10,000 figures all turned their heads in unison, and their eyes were fixed on the 3 of them. Buzzhang and Fei Xin felt a chill down their spines. It's weird, how come there are so many weird things? Every weirdness here is around level 200. And their physical properties are special, many attacks are ineffective. Through this secret realm, you can only rely on hiding, and you must not face these things head on. If you meet one, you can barely beat it. But now, thousands of strange figures appeared, staring at the 3 of them. It seems that something is attracting their attention. Buzzhang wanted to escape subconsciously, but he was horrified to find that in the nearby buildings, alleys, and shops, every place is full of weirdness. Countless quiet, but frightening figures, covering every place that can be covered by sight. Seef. Behind the gate of the secret realm, there is a terrifying ghoul king. But in the quiet city, there are thousands of strange sieges. Dead end. This is a dead end. Dead, I'm sure. Bu Jiang's voice trembled. He never expected such an ending. Indeed. Su Mu drew out his sword. That's why I asked you what to do with your third choice. To be killed by these things, or... A sword shadow passed by. A few minutes ago, Qinghe didn't dare to get close to the Ghoul King, so he could only hang from afar. She wanted to go around, but found that the path of this boss was the shortest path to the gate of the secret realm. There is no way around it. Qinghe was extremely anxious. The Mr. Su whom the Bounty Guild wanted to rescue might still survive in the hands of the Chilling Hunters. But if you encounter this Ghoul King, you will die. But Qinghe had no choice but to hang from afar. But she was lingering in a depression, and suddenly she was taken aback. The breath of the boss has disappeared. Qinghe didn't dare to move rashly, and waited for a few more minutes before jumping out. Sure enough, there was no longer the breath of the Ghoul King in front of him. But there was no trace of fighting, and everything seemed very calm. Qinghe frowned, but still bravely approached the gate of the secret realm. When she came to the door, she was surprised to find that there was a huge pool of black mud on the ground. The smell of corpses still remains on the black mud. Obviously, it is the ghoul boss. Who is it? Who killed this boss? Qinghe was extremely astonished. There is no trace of a battle, and it was instantly killed. She thought about countless possibilities in her mind, including whether this was a creature summoned by others. But this possibility was instantly rejected. If he could control this Ghoul King, he would have walked sideways in this secret realm long ago, so there is no need to be careful. What kind of existence is so powerful? Qinghe was shocked, but at the same time extremely worried. Now that there is an existence that can instantly kill the Ghoul King, the safety of Mr. Su is even more of a problem. The gate of the secret realm is so close here, I don't know if that thing has territorial awareness, and whether it will go to another world. If you catch up, it's over. Qinghe gritted her teeth. If you collect the money, you have to get things done. It doesn't matter, even if you go all out, you must keep Mr. Su. She summoned up her courage and stepped into the gate of the secret realm. As soon as she opened her eyes, Qinghe's complexion changed. She didn't see any super boss, but saw strange figures overwhelming. It's over. Although this thing is only level 200, it is extremely tough and hard to kill. There are at least tens of thousands of them here, and accidents will happen to anyone who encounters them. Mr. Su is really unlucky. He just got out of the wolf's lair, and now he's going into the tiger's mouth. When Qinghe felt desperate, she saw Su Mu standing on a high place. He pulled out his sword and aimed at the endless weirdness below. What's the use of drawing a sword? I'm sure I'm dead. Changhe smiled wryly. Under this level of weird siege, it is impossible to win, and even escape is a luxury. And in the next second, swish, a sword light that could cut through the entire night sky flashed, and a huge sword energy that was so powerful that it made people's heart tremble swept down. Changhe was dumbfounded, only then realized that she was wrong. That was the most gorgeous sword Changhe had ever seen. In this night city, a silver moon shines. The moonlight gently and evenly sprinkled on the faces of all the weird figures, but quietly reduced them to ashes. Wei Wei wailed in pain, and for a while, the whole city was howling with ghosts and wolves, filled with terrifying and gloomy sounds. But the moon-like sword shadow showed no mercy, easily crushing all the weirdness. Standing at the end, the sword intent subsided a little, and it was strange that he couldn't kill him. After a strange twitch, a raging fire exploded on his body. These weird cries, coma, fear, and runaways were burned to the ground in a burst of chaos. Changhe opened his mouth wide, dumbfounded. Only then did she realize that she was wrong, completely wrong. That Mr. Su doesn't need protection at all. With one strike, tens of thousands of strange figures were eliminated. The same sword can kill yourself 10 or 100 times. How could this kind of character fall into someone else's trap? Changhe suddenly figured it out. That terrifying ghoul king must have been beheaded by Mr. Su. What kind of monster is this? Changhe trembled all over, unable to believe what she saw. At a height, Su Mu put away the sword, and the edge of the sword was still shining with a dazzling red light. It wasn't until the night wind blew that it fell silent again, returning to a simple and low-key manner. That is the blade of the element imprinted on the world-destroying and burning prison, so that the sword not only has the power of a legendary spell, but also can control the effect spontaneously. Su Mu saw that there were still some strange people standing far away, but they were not killed by the sword. He took out an ordinary sword with a cracked blade and threw it in the direction. Sharp sword, normal. Weapon damage, 8 to 13. Destroying world and burning prison x1. Unstable, may erupt at any time, causing 50,000 plus 520,000 points of damage. This sword is endowed with legendary spells with the ability to store magic, but its grade cannot be supported, and it may shatter and explode at any time. It is perfect for use as a grenade. Boom! There was a terrifying explosion in the distance, and flames rushed into the sky. The shock wave and the clouds dispersed, and those strange figures were nowhere to be seen. Ding! Kill the strange remnant soul x 11,415. Materials obtained. Misty Essence, Silver x 8,766. Consumables obtained. Dark Wisdom Potion, Silver x 994. Poisonous Thought, Silver x 124. Evil Blood Poison, Gold x 62. Equipment obtained. Broken Invisible Cape, Silver. Dense Ghost Hair, Gold. Poisonous Saber, Gold. Kill 10,000 strange creatures at one time, and get the title, Destroyer Not Worn. Destroyer. Increases the damage done to life-enhanced creatures by 10%. Su Mu looked at the dazzling array of harvest and was quite satisfied. Potions and equipment can be swallowed directly to become attributes, resistances and special effects. In addition, he also obtained a title, which increases the damage caused by special life forms by 10%, which is a surprise. In this world that does have gods, ghosts, weirdos, and ghosts are all special creatures. Because their quality of life is too high, their demand for material is reduced, and they can survive in the form of energy and intelligence. The title of Destroyer seems to be a special enhancement for them, and it is still very useful. Su Mu put on the title, and then looked at the two people who were stunned. You, why are you so strong? Fei Xin was terrified. They all think that Su Mu is a fat sheep and can only wait to be slaughtered. But only now did I realize that it turned out to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. And they are the idiots who want to fall into the mouth of wolves. Su Mu smiled slightly, and said to Fei Xin, "Are you familiar with the way to the top furnace secret place?" Fei Xin was stunned, wondering what the question was, and subconsciously replied, "I'm not very familiar with the captain, he knows the way, and we all follow behind." Swish. Su Mu drew out the sword cleanly and put it back into its sheath. "Chow doesn't need you anymore." Fei Xin touched his forehead suspiciously, but found no bloodstains or lines. Team, he turned his head and looked at Buzzhang, but because of this action, his body balance was broken. Crash. Fei Xin's body turned into two pieces and fell to the sides, with internal organs falling all over the floor. Buzzhang was so scared that he urinated and yelled, "You killed someone, you killed my people. Who are you?" Su Mu looked at him and smiled gently, "Do you know why I wanted to kill him?" Buzzhang was terrified, subconsciously shook his head, "I don't know." Su Mu smiled and said, "You guys wanted to kill me from the very beginning, so you have to show it." Buzzhang was dumbfounded. You know. You always knew." Su Mu nodded. "I know it since you took the mission." Buzzhang was in a daze, and after a while he said, "Then why did you still choose us? After all, you were the first to accept the mission, in order to leave as soon as possible." Su Mu replied in great detail, "And besides, because you were cheap." Buzzhang said blankly, "Cheap?" Su Mu nodded. "That's right, if there is a small team, respectfully and safely send me to my destination. If I don't pay, I feel a little bit uneasy." There was despair in Buzhang's eyes. This guy actually knew his purpose from the beginning to the end. I took a fancy to his epic potion, but he actually took a fancy to his own life. Because his own team attacked him, can he jump the road without any scruples? Su Mu hung his sword and asked very gently, "Do you know the way to the top furnace secret place?" Buzzhang was horrified to the extreme. Now there is only one way to survive. He immediately replied, "Of course I know. I know the way too." A female voice sounded from behind. The two turned their heads and saw Qinghe jumping on the floor, and soon reached the top of the building. 0. Standing in front of Su Mu, she was a little scared, but she still gritted her teeth and said, "Mr. Su, my name is Qinghe, and the Bounty Guild hired me to protect you. I also know the way, and I can take you to the top furnace secret place." Buzzhang secretly thought that something was wrong, so he hurriedly said, "Mr. Su, I too." Swish. Su Mu raised the saber in his hand and cut Buzzhang into two sections. A 210 level son of beast plus adventurer, with a power of 280,000 and a bunch of passive bonuses, is completely vulnerable. Buzzhang fell limply, and before he died, he didn't understand. Why is a level 120 botanist so strong? Qinghe is also a little sluggish. This move is considered a master, but his actions are not very moral, and the group style is not well received. Even if it is her, it will take a while to deal with Buzzhang. But such a master, like an old dog, was instantly killed by one blow. Qinghe smiled wryly in her heart. This Mr. Su, how could he need someone to protect him? He has known for a long time that this journey is not simple, but it is precisely because of it. As he said, a serious team sent him there, but they also paid money. Follow such a malicious team, not only can reach the destination, but also eliminate harm for the people. It kills two birds with one stone. This person is not only powerful, but also has a strong strategy. Where is the door to the secret realm? Su Mu asked suddenly. Qinghe was taken aback, and pointed to the northwest. Over there, it's very close, you only need to go through the city for 12 kilometers to get there. Su Mu nodded. I'll go first. Ah, what about me? Qinghe didn't understand. Su Mu pointed to the corpse on the ground. Don't miss out on the loot. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.